what you're saying, I hear what you're saying, and my biggest issue is the fact that Christians today read and adhere by the remix. That's where the problem lies.
Not all of them.
That is where the problem lies.
But you do.
But that is where the problem. If
you don't go by New Testament.
If you read New Testament, King James's Bible, all the rest of it, you are.
Here we go.
You're reading the remix.
You know what I'll do?
Do you not support New Testament Bible?
Yes, I do.
Then
because no, it's not the end of that.
It is the end of that.
Yeah, and that's fine.
You're driving around in the Chrysler 300 saying it's the Bentley.
All right.
Wow! Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, rodents, and other small insects. Welcome to another episode of the Eloquently Saying Nothing podcast. This is episode 88. At ESN Podcast on your social medias, hashtag ESN Pod to join the discussion. I am Stavros Boss, and in the room with me tonight, I have somebody that looks like they're ready.
At Big Wahala.
Big Wahala.
On Insta, at Big Wahala. On Twitter, what's good, my people? No energy.
Talk to the mic.
Talk to the energy. Energy.
And we have, at Big Wahala, you said your thing.
I've done my thing, man.
All right, Mr. Wolf.
It is not everyone with a quiet disposition who is kind-natured. Appearances can be deceptive. I think that some people do fall my kindness for weakness until they feel the venom or fly kick.
Boy, man, just coming to fury straight away.
Yeah, man.
And Simple Simon.
Yo, Simple Simon's in the building. Mr. Problematic has returned. Yes, sir.
So you're claiming the title?
I'm claiming it, bruv.
All right.
Let me do my socials because I didn't do it.
At Simple Simon FB on Twitter.
Boom. And Mr. Wolf, a.k.a. Mr. Wolf on Instagram, a.k.a. _Mr. Wolf on Twitter. I've just retweeted the Yoruba proverb. So if you people are Yoruba people who want to hear or read this thing, go on there. If you are not a Yoruba man, go on there anyway and have a look.
You know, when we went out on the weekend after the last podcast.
I can't hear you, bro.
Oh, okay. I don't know why you can't hear me.
Go on, name.
We went out on the weekend after the last podcast, and
where we go?
Went and got so innit. We got ASA and them man there from Got So, and I think we saw one of our listeners, Big K. I think his name's Big K.
Yeah, Big K.
Big K called us problematic immediately. He didn't even waste any time. he clocked us from the voices like, wow, yo, Big Wahala, innit? Yeah, yo, Stav. Yeah, problematic guys. I was like, what? How you just gonna call man problematic from the get go? Didn't even say hello, you know?
So this is somebody that you don't know.
Nah, he's got names though still, so you know that's why he already called us problematic.
But you know the person?
No.
Okay. Why didn't you introduce me to the guy, man?
Because you was doing whatever you was doing.
He went around at the time.
It's nice that somebody can hear a voice and just match it to the podcast, man.
Yeah, still.
Yeah, big up yourself, Big K. And all the other listeners that we've met in the past and shook hands with and whatnot.
And all the ones that we are yet to meet.
We should do a live show, you know.
There we go.
I'm just saying, innit? We should do one.
I don't know. Why did that jump up inside of you just like that?
Because of the meetings and the interaction of the fans.
We should do a live show. Yeah, it's only because we're talking about it now and talking about the interactions and stuff. I think we should do a live show.
I was going through what?
Loud me up a little bit. Just a touch.
Man said touch up my volume, yeah?
That's a touch
my volume, brother.
Yeah. That's a bit better. Go on.
We had an old social media, old Twitter from 2012, early 2012, I think it was. We set up a Twitter for ESN, and before we opened up the next one, for some reason, actually, at the time I didn't know Twitter too well, so instead of just changing ESN, I made a new one. But anyways, I went to the old account and I just looked, and there was a bunch of questions from the group. And stuff about the live event. The live stream is on now. Click on it to watch the live stream and all that stuff. So I'm going to do some throwback Thursdays now. I'm going to start going back to there and all these questions, dump them out on this throwback Thursday thing.
Is the live stream still available? Can you watch it?
The link didn't work because it was a short link for what's one of them? What's the one that SA used to use?
I can't remember.
But that the company might still work, but that short link doesn't work. So I clicked on it to have a look, but the short link didn't work. So we'd have to go to whatever the thing was. I forgot what it's called now, but one of them streaming things that people used back in the day.
It's a shame, man. How's everybody's week been, man? How you all been, man?
I want to continue talking about last week.
What happened last week?
Because after Got Soul, we went to VQs.
Yeah,
we had a big man conversation.
We sat down and we had a discussion about relationships and finding your partner or finding a woman. It was a bunch of men. So it was me, Stavros Boss, Big Wahala, Alex, our boy who done the polo thing, and Gory, and it was fun. It was fun. I know Stavros was in his element, as Big Wahala was saying. Oh look, he's in his element. He's talking about relationships.
He was there. He was excited about himself. I've never seen a man get so excited about talking about relationships like Stav, you know.
Because that's what I think is a beautiful thing in life.
Yeah, whatever, man.
I'm an expert in relationships. I think so.
You should see if you can make money from it.
You should see him this week. My wife, my anniversary, my wife. Oh, I love you. It was terrible.
I don't know what your problem is.
Oh my! He put his vows up on Twitter. I said, "Nah, come on, B.
Filito fish for my
wife. You put your vows up on Twitter, B. Come on, nah, fam.
I'm just helping the masses, man. Somebody could take some of that, innit? Use it for themselves.
And I saw some of the other women. Oh, he's so beautiful. I was like,
you like that, innit?
Vomit.
You like that?
You know what? Yeah, because if you look at it like last year on social media, there was hardly anything. I think I put maybe just put 2 years on Twitter, and that's it. Nobody would even know what it is about. And I would have just tagged her.
So you made
on
up for
on Facebook. There was nothing. It's not made up because my missus didn't do nothing on Facebook this time, or she didn't do nothing this year.
All right.
So I think we're alternating. Like 1 year I'll do something and she doesn't, and vice versa. It's nothing in it. It's just this year I was in the mood to do it.
Okay.
So I wrote it.
So there's no agenda or nothing like that.
No. It was all good, man. I was just feeling the love. I woke up feeling the love. We haven't even celebrated. We said we're going to celebrate it when we come back.
No, that's nice.
Why do you celebrate it over there? Back home.
Got the love.
In the rawest form.
We'll see.
Why you going to do make a clay pot or something together?
Hang on, you're going to both sides, isn't it?
Both sides.
Jeez.
Blocker. And,
Ghana and Nigeria in one trip.
What?
Ghana and Poland. Wow, can you imagine how far away they're from?
Ghana and Poland, you know. Not even Nigeria and Poland, Ghana and Poland.
Oh shit, sorry, you're the Ghanaian.
What are you like, Chrissy?
Somebody did call him you know what happened the other day, yeah? Let me tell you what God punishes people in life, yeah? The other day, Mr. Wolf was saying when we went out, yeah, some guy was chatting. So basically, Stav came out of Got Soul, yeah? Some lady must have seen Stav walk past and must have complimented him. So in the end, he ended up talking to that person.
Give it the respect it deserves.
Okay, so he said he looked beautiful. So foolish like that.
She said you look beautiful.
She called me over to tell me that I look very delicious.
He was gassed. Anyway,
because I haven't had that for a while, you know.
Anyway, so he flashed the ring to show her that he's off the market. Yeah. Then he had this conversation with her. He was chatting to her, blah blah blah. So he was chatting to her. Then eventually we said we're gonna go because we wanted to get something to eat and we were starting to leave. So when we came out, this girl was talking to a man, yeah? Right? The girl was talking to a man. This man's clearly married. Obviously, it's not his concern. So then eventually he came out and suddenly somehow we managed to find out that the guy was Ghanaian in some way, shape or form, yeah? So this is the stuff, yeah? This is the stuff. Oh, you can't trust Ghanaian men. Remember what I told you. Man, cockblock. Yeah. A man, he doesn't even know.
And I didn't even do it on purpose, you know.
Yeah, well, you done it subconsciously, man. It was mad.
Yeah, me and Miss Wolf was like, what's wrong with this guy?
It's only when Wahala told me, why are you cockblocking the man? I was like,
the man's trying to ting in it.
You know, he's trying to block him for no reason.
No, listen, you don't have to take it like that.
Just that's how he took it, bruv. He would have taken it like that.
And we were joking with each other.
Oh, Charlie.
Not only then,
is
that he said
tried to soften it.
This is why I say God will punish you, because he went to go and say, oh, you know, Ghanaian men are this, that, and the other. And then the guy said, I know one of my own people when I see them.
Yeah, he thought that you was from Ghana, bro.
Yeah, he argued with me. I said, no, I'm not. That's
you are.
Can you imagine? How can you be arguing with me?
Oh, we told you already, bro.
Yeah, man.
Told you.
The longer that he's been with his missus, the more that people take him for a Ghanaian.
When I go there, they think I'm one of them.
That's right.
You got the shade for it.
Anyway, it doesn't matter what they think. It doesn't matter what he thought. It doesn't matter because the reality is I'm Niger for life.
Yeah, but you're also a cock blocker. You can't be doing that. When you're married, you cannot be going around cock blocking other man's.
Even when you're not married, bro.
I didn't do it on purpose. So
yeah, but you need to have like an understanding that.
No, I don't.
What, you don't care whether or not you're blocking it?
You're a relationship man, innit? I hope you softened it though, because you were around there chatting for a little while.
Yeah.
You know, I hope that you kind of soften the blow, man.
What's wrong with cock blocking?
Nah.
It's hating.
Yeah, he's king of the cock block.
Cock blocking somebody that doesn't even know you, and you don't know that person, and you don't even know the girl.
Hang on, how did I get titled the king of the cock block? When did
You
this happen?
you used to claim it.
Eh?
Yes.
Yeah, you did use the cock block
Oh,
stuff.
on Tuesdays.
Yeah, because that's it. You had cock block Tuesdays.
Yeah, cock block Tuesdays was heavy, bro.
Yeah, man.
Damn, bro.
That was good, man.
Nah, man, I don't respect man that cock block for no reason.
Well, yes, that's fine. I agree. But if I didn't do it on purpose, if I didn't do it with some sort of premeditated, then it was a mistake. So when you told me, I was like, did I not see? I said, oh damn, you're right. I'm sorry. But what could I do?
By the time that you left, did the guy, get in there with the number and what have you?
I don't know. It was just a quick thing, and then we went. So I don't know what he did after we left.
Okay, so he was still talking to the girl.
For real, man. Used to.
I don't recall him talking
You
to
finished
the
it off
girl.
for the guy, man.
Poor
She
guy,
must have thought, she likes this guy instead, and I left it. You're a bastard. You know what? We need to discuss this cock blocking thing anyway, because there's times when I see the cock blocking on Twitter, and I don't know whether it's cock blocking or if it's just being information. Because when there's people that's like, when there's man that's being, cheesy. When mans are being cheesy, like, my queen, or I would never do this, blah blah blah. And the next man would be like, just stop trying to grab pussy or whatever they always say. They always say this guy's just saying what he's saying for pussy.
Donald Trump.
Are we saying that this is that allowed even?
What's that?
If man is being sleazy or trying to cheese rubbish to try and get gal, is it okay for a next man to come and expose that cheesiness to say you want pussy?
I think what I'm coming to realize online now, it's Wild West. It's just Wild West.
They want.
It's just Wild West.
And say what they want.
Yeah, it's just like if you come into that forum, somebody, I'm not gonna say who because we keep mentioning their names, but they wrote something that, listen, if you come here and you're gonna block me, then basically you're a bitch, innit? Because if you come to this forum, if you come to Twitter, it's the Wild Wild West. You better have you better be ready for it.
Get your guns out,
and if you ain't, then leave. And I sat there and I thought about it. I was like, you know what? It's true, If you're not built for it, you can come here for a nice, peaceful, intelligent conversation, but you ain't gonna get it. Or you're gonna have to block a lot of people to get it. Or you're gonna have to tiptoe around like just cat pictures or something like that, not deal with anything of any substance.
Or you get your timeline to the like-minded people, I suppose.
But then you're in the echo chamber, and that's not really where you want to be either.
But most people, that's what they want from Twitter. They want the echo chamber. But this is going back to the conversation we had last week. But I'm just saying, I don't understand the blocking, man. I don't know whether or not that blocking is alive. To be honest, I'm not gonna lie to you. I like that type of blocking because I hate the cheesy mans. I hate them with a passion.
Man.
I hate cheesy mans, man.
Yeah, but you can't knock a man for his game.
That's what I'm saying.
Man. Different type of game.
I don't like the mans that are trying to blatantly, openly lie to get vagina. So basically they putting the next man down or men down to try and lift themselves up. I don't like that. I don't like that at all, man.
Do you know what? There's a social media guy out there. The ones that the girls love. He's a big dark chocolate man, and he gives this certain advice, but it always seems to knock black men. So he tends to always deliver this advice to knock black men to make himself look good and to get pussy.
That's the kind of thing we're talking about, isn't it?
I'm trying to remember the guy's name. Let me see if I can find.
I know girls hate.
He's going to be exposed.
I know girls don't like that as well when where they think girls are just taking men's side because they think that they're looking for dick.
They call it pick me, innit?
Well, girls.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So there's like they're jumping out in the crowd to say, "Look at me."
But a girl
I'm different from the rest of these girls.
For women that feel the need to do that on social media, let me give you some advice. You don't need to.
Well,
no,
some of them feel like they do.
A woman just agreeing with men.
A woman
to get attention. It's all right, and we are a selection of men. We're a cross selection of men.
Yes.
Yeah. I know we're not the best because we kind of all huddle up in one corner, but hold on to that name.
Eric.
If a woman, we're talking about something and the woman is there, yeah, I agree with you, man. Does that make you think, yeah, this is something that I might move to?
It depends. It depends on what she's agreeing with. I might throw a spanner in the work on purpose. I might say some wild shit just to see whether she agrees with it or not. And if she does, then I know that she's just being a yes person and she's being a pick me.
It depends what it is, isn't it? So if somebody says, you know what, yeah, I want girls to be that are gonna just take it in their face and lick it all around their face and blah blah blah, and then girls are like, oh, that's disgusting. Oh, you have to bust off. And there was one girl that said, I'll take it in the face. Blah blah blah. I lick it, bro. Then yeah, you would be like, yeah.
Okay.
You're a winner, innit?
The guy's name is Derek Jean.
Wow,
man exposed him.
Really went to
No, because he's a social media guy. The last name is spelled Jaxn, Derek Jean. And what he tends to do, I remember one of our listeners, one of our friends actually, he said, if you say anything that is contrary to his mindset or what he delivers, or you disagree with him, the women will come at you with knives.
Oh, wow.
Literally come at you with knives to try and chop your head off.
But is he talking the truth, though?
Some of it he is, but a lot of the time I see and I feel like it's more to knock a man down. I don't ever hear him, or rarely hear him say anything good about black men.
So the bad things that he's saying, are they justified though? Because there is a lot of trash.
At times, yeah.
There's a lot of trash as black
I won't
men.
say that he talks shit 100% of the time, but I just feel like he's, I don't know, it's almost like an attention seeker kind of guy.
I'm reading this stuff. A lot of the stuff is stuff we wouldn't necessarily disagree with.
It's like
but it does sound like he's caping though. That's all.
That's what I'm saying.
Because if you're, I always feel a bit. I always side eye people that have one agenda.
Yes.
Like when they're talking, it's just one thing they're talking about. So, well, is his Instagram?
That's his Instagram.
Yeah. So I'm reading. So I'm looking at the ones where it's just I can read them, and it's everything is men need to do better, or men sort yourselves out, or women, big up yourselves, which is cool. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with the stuff he's actually saying. But if that's the only thing I can see on his page, then you have an agenda, innit?
And then you see him with topless pictures of himself.
Yeah, but hang on. I haven't looked at it yet. Does he look like he's got the I've got a white girlfriend starter pack?
He looks like a king.
No, he doesn't.
Cool.
A king. Behold, a king. One of them ones there, man. Do you know what I almost found myself saying the other day in the gym? And what's his name is messed up for me. What's that guy's name? The more comedians properly messed up for me. What? So I was in the gym the other day, and one guy, we don't really, as I said, I wasn't talking.
You and
to
your
people
gym relationships.
I wasn't talking to people in the gym before, but now,
you know what I'm saying?
Okay, let me explain to you what's happened. So there's a second gym that's opened.
Chapter 23 in the gym circus.
Yeah, there's a second gym. There's a second gym that's opened up. Yeah. So some of the people from the old gym has now moved over to the new gym. And now we've moved over. Remember I said I'm going to try and I think I should speak to more people in the gym.
Gym Island.
Gym Bay.
Gym Island.
Gym Stenders.
So I started to speak to a little bit more people. I speak to one guy there now and he's cool. So he's kind of introduced me to other people. And this one of the guys that we kind of spoke about.
Come and meet my friends.
He saw me and he listened to the podcast, one of them actually. So he saw me and we was just talking and like, how you doing, man? You just started. They're like, yeah. And then he must have said to me, you lost bare weight, bruv. You're doing really well, blah, 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 blah. And I almost said, just trying to be like you, big man. Almost said it. Almost said it. I said, and he's not even big. That's what made it even worse. And I had to stop myself. I'm like, oh my God, more the comedians finished me. In my head, he was in the love with it. You're trying to be like you, big man. I was like,
not a comedian's a joker, man.
He is, man. His accuracy of some of these stuff is ridiculous.
Hello, Mr. Wahala.
Yeah,
come to the gym. Come on, let's bump together. Let's bump.
Nah, man. The gym is a strange place, man. The gym is a strange place. You can go in there and you will just. It's just mad. For me, it's mad because you have the people that go in there and you can see that they're not doing anything. They're guided there to chat, girl, and to walk around. They do a couple pumps and then they leave, yeah? Then you got the people that are hardcore involved, don't even acknowledge anyone, sweating it out. And then you got the people that's in between. Like, they go in there, they have a chat, they do their gym, they have a chat, they do the gym. And there's some people that look like they don't actually want to go home.
Yeah. There's some people that spend like 3 or 4 hours in the gym.
I don't know how they can spend
I
that much
remember when
time
I
in
was
the gym.
doing gymming like all the time, and there was a guy that you would see all the time in your session. Yeah. And then my brethren will say, yeah, he was there at 11, bruv. I'm saying, but bruv, it's 1 o'clock. And then I'll be doing like an hour and a half session, and he's still there. And then I leave, he's still there.
He's not personal trainer though?
Nah, bruv, nah. Man pumping weights with a big belly.
Well, some people see this.
He say pumping weights with a big belly?
He's trying to ting, innit? He's trying to ting.
He needs to try something different, innit?
I don't get it myself. But some people get addicted to it.
Yeah, they do. But I don't know, man. But it was funny, though. I was like, I can't believe I almost said that. But I did almost say it.
I had a couple complete change of subject. I had a couple of listeners, fans of the show that listened to something that Stavros said last week. And then they listened to it. And then they said, but Mr. Wolf, why didn't you say anything? I said, I can't be bothered.
Say it now then, bruv.
It was relating to the Christianity thing.
Oh, these people are Christians.
Yeah, I think sometimes you throw daggers every now and then, and a lot of the time they're inaccurate.
Oh.
Yeah, like the one last week was inaccurate.
Well, can I correct myself?
No, wait, hang on.
I did make a mistake with the ham thing. Not the general thing about it being about the blacks,
but the relationship.
Yeah, I got the lineage and the sons all wrong. So can I correct that?
The
sons of Shem or something, innit?
Seth.
Either way,
Seth.
They
said
the
but it wasn't the
darkies are the ones that.
But it was the son of Noah.
Curse.
Yeah, it was, Shem, Shem is one of the sons of Noah, but the general rhetoric that you put out there was the damn you Christians, how can you be Christians when it says that you were cursed and you became black?
No, that was
that was blatantly me.
Oh, was it you?
And I'll say it again.
Well, it's not true, bro.
Okay, whatever.
No.
Damn you Christians.
I made a joke about it. I did make my joke. Don't get me wrong.
No,
but I think it was him that was a bit more straightforward about it.
I'd have said, I got done.
No, but that's fine.
Curse of the ham.
No, yeah, but that's
even
fine.
called you swine. I used to.
Yeah, and that's fine, but it's just inaccurate.
Why is it?
Which bit is it inaccurate then?
About the curse.
Shout out you Christians out there.
Nah, just
See you in heaven.
let me try and. I don't want this to be no Bible study now, but it is not. There is no fact in the saying that black people became black off of that curse, and that kind of rhetoric came in like the 18s or the 1700s through the slave trade. So they interpreted that part to say you are cursed, you became black off that curse. Okay. You get me? So I'm just saying.
Okay.
So Noah had his 3 sons, Shem, Ham, Japheth.
Are these Nigerian people that's talking to you about this?
No.
Where are they from?
In fact, one of them was.
Okay.
He had and there was a curse that was not on Ham, but on Ham's son. And what that curse is in debate.
Does he know about the Orishas?
Itself. Yes.
Quite heavily.
I'm not sure about heavily,
but
he,
tell him to
but he knows about.
Tell him to learn his own people before he tell him about other people.
Yeah, but no. But this is the thing.
Any religion I'm on. Bring the rhythm man on.
It's not about but it's not about knocking other people.
I'm not knocking man in it, but you're coming to tell me about the Jewish God.
No. See now, this is the thing is. What we have to remember.
We're getting into the religious conversation.
I don't want to, but
why not get into it?
Get into it, fam.
Because what we have to remember is
Back your corner.
is that we were all black. If you have a belief that that we were all black at the time of the creation of man, then I don't think that it makes much sense when people throw that thing out that Christianity's believed this when you were cursed and you became black off of that curse.
I'm not that one. I'm not. If you don't want me to go into that, that's all well and good. But I'm saying we come from a certain place. We come from a certain culture. We dashed our religions to support another one that was brought over by a certain people.
No, but that's the
colonizers.
thing. Yeah, but the thing is that the religion wasn't brought over by.
All right,
Okay, let's go to the next.
You know what you sound like just there? You sound like 50 minus 17, goddamn 47.
No, but he's partly right.
Fine.
But the problem I have, he's partly right.
What they've done is that they hold your thought is that they came and they kind of remixed what was there already. Okay. So yeah, but you know.
Yeah, but here's my problem.
It's like they plagiarized it and they remarketed it to make it suit their own needs.
Yeah, but here's my problem. What you're saying, I hear what you're saying, and my biggest issue is the fact that Christians today read and adhere by the remix. That's where the problem lies.
Not all of them.
That is where the problem lies.
But you do.
But that is where the problem. If you
don't go by New Testament.
If you read New Testament, King James's Bible, all the rest of it, you are.
Here we go.
You're reading the remix.
You know what I'll do?
Do you not support New Testament Bible?
Yes, I do. Because no, it's not the end of that.
It is the end of that.
Yeah, but that's fine.
You're driving around in the Chrysler 300, saying it's the Bentley.
All right.
Wow!
You can laugh at it as much as you like, but it's not, that ain't the case. You can laugh at it as much as you like, but it ain't the case. And
say the thing, man. Say the thing.
No, because
say the thing.
The people that got dashed out of Israel, they got dashed into the wilderness. You get me? They got thrown into that area and they moved west into that part of West Africa, and that's why a lot of them believe that the original Jews that were in that part are partly of the Igbo tribe.
Mm-hmm.
You get me? But there's a lot of history and there's a lot of lineage that people kind of misinterpret and they get their timings wrong.
Okay.
So they kind of came from that place and went into parts of West Africa and went into parts of South Africa.
And then they wrote the New Testament.
No, it was there already.
See, again, like I'm saying to you, I don't have a
Hold
problem.
on. Oh, no. So you're saying the New Testament was there already? By the time the Israelites came to West Africa, the New Testament was there?
Oh, no. Sorry. My mistake.
All
I'll take that back.
So I'm
But,
saying,
but one guy in particular, he's quite eager to come on to the show, and then you can, because I'm not going to say that my knowledge is as strong as his, but I will
Bring them on, man.
Yeah, I'll bring them on, and they're quite eager to come on, and then you can go back and forth with them, and then I'll see what I can throw in as well. But
man's just gonna throw holy word, man, rapidly.
but I just think I just think that a lot of people believe in misconceptions and some rhetorics that came from the white man. They kind of jump on that more than what comes from us.
I hear that, but the problem is, if you read the New Testament, you're reading that rhetoric from the white man. That's the problem. King James's Bible.
No.
King James.
And you need to realize that King James was a black man.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, there you go.
Let me
That man took it to their own God as well.
Let me go back.
No, but King James was black.
Let me go back to the car.
And, you can kind of do your research and go back in that as well.
All right, let me go back to the car analogy. Let's not go too deep and go into the Chrysler thing. Let's stick with the Bentley. You got the Bentley. You got two Bentleys side by side. All right. Now, one of them, somebody keeps it looking crisp, new, polishes it, drives it up and down, but he always cleans it, services it. Cool. The next one doesn't take too much care of it, so every now and then he has to replace the original parts with other parts. Now he goes to the mechanic, and the mechanic says, "This is going to cost you £500 for the original part, or I can replace it with a off the shelf one, a white label one, and that's going to cost you 250." And this is, I'll take the 250 one. And so he changes the wheels, he changes the engine, he changes this pipe, that pipe, spark plugs, whatever. And the outside of the car now looks the same as the first car, but the inside is all different. So for me, if somebody says, "I'm selling you an original car," I would say, well, it's original, but it's got parts in it from somewhere else. And I would say that if you can look at Christianity and what came before Christianity and all the things that, like you said, it plagiarized, it stole, or it took, or it borrowed, or whatever words you want to use, like of Jesus before Jesus, there was a Jesus before Jesus was born. Apparently, might not have the same name, but lived the same life, did the same thing, and that was there. So the story was there. It's mapped out, and all of a sudden now it's in the Bible. And then you have stories of this and that, and then they're in the Bible now. So if you understand that this thing was there before, how can you say that this new thing that takes what was there before, tweaks it slightly, remixes it as the words that you used, how can you follow that path instead of just following the original path?
That's my only problem.
Okay.
All I'm saying is,
You weren't even listening.
To a certain extent. I mean, but we do realize that Jesus was a black man, right?
what I'm saying is the great Eloquently said,
I'm asking you.
it is a known fact that for many thousand years, we Africans had our own traditions. These money-making organizations, them come put us Africans in total confusion.
I'm not part of any
For Jesus Christ our Lord.
organization.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
And
Please, this is the coffee in the head of state by the man called Eloquently.
I'm just saying that Jesus Christ was a black man,
He probably was.
and ain't no white man gonna write a book or anything in the New Testament based on another race.
Probably not. But I'm saying, even in that instance, even if that's what you want to go by, where we come from as a Yoruba culture, we have our own religions.
I know
that has been.
but you have got your
disdashed.
time. But you got your time as well.
What's my time? So you think you think that the Yoruba traditions from your own people, from your
whether
people,
they're from my people or not, because what you're now doing is that you're kind of putting a kind of twist on it to suggest that I'm maybe disregarding where I'm from.
No,
you get me?
I didn't disregard.
No.
I said you're
but
disregarding your religion for another religion that's not from your people. But it's fine. Many people do that all the time.
Well, that's fine.
It's
I just think
like getting married to
the time
somebody and then
got your time as
and
well.
then like saying fob off to your own family and linking with theirs.
You do know that Africa was a barren land, though, innit?
What's that got to do with anything?
It's got to do with a lot, bruv.
Well, you tell me then, because I don't know what that means.
Africa was a barren land. It was a barren land in that time. We're talking about the beginning of time, and then people from that area came in to populate Africa.
From what area?
Hold on. So you don't think so? So the idea that the first man was from Africa.
If you see the way that Simple Simon was looking at you, you've got anything like.
Would you say the first person was created or born or came out of the water in Africa? However you want to do it.
Yeah.
So then,
they was kind of sent in to the west and the south and the central part of Africa.
Sent from where?
Sent from like the northeastern part of Africa. It's confusing, isn't it?
You just said they were sent from Africa to Africa.
So let me get this right.
Well, I'm talking about those people, like Noah's people, Noah's children, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. They were kind of sent out of Israel.
So let me get this right. So we're going to mix religion and science now. So they've proved. Wait, hold on, hang on. Let me finish.
Anyway, go on.
They've proved that mitochondrial Eve was from the area that is now known as Ethiopia. Yeah. So that's the first human being is from the area that is now known as Ethiopia. And you're saying that Africa was barren.
I said that they came from that part of eastern and northeastern Africa had people, but they were sent out into the southern, central, and western part. Now,
you specifically said that Africa was barren.
Yes, like the southern, central, and western part of Africa, not the northeastern part. So, don't completely quote me on everything. There's a lot for me to learn and for me to understand.
Listen to what I'm saying, but don't listen to what I'm saying.
But
he's trying to think. He's trying what he knows, isn't he? He's saying what he knows.
There's a lot for me to learn and understand, but you know that. Like the science thing as well, you know that.
No, what I'm saying to you is, if we've got mitochondrial Eve in Ethiopia as one of the first human beings on the planet, how do we then go from that to then having barren land and someone having to come from? You're saying Northeast Africa, but I think people would openly refer to that area today. They'll be wrong, but they openly refer to it as the Middle East, because you're talking about that whole Jerusalem, Jordan corridor, right?
Also Egypt and south of Egypt and those kind of countries to the southern part.
If you look, see the hand movement, Mr. Wolf.
So when you're saying land is barren, you have to be careful because
but that's why I kind of made it known as to what part of Africa. Innit?
Yeah, but you said Western Africa. Western Africa isn't barren.
No,
northern by all means, yes, because it's a desert. It still is a desert till today. But
it was barren.
Western Africa isn't barren.
No, I'm not saying it isn't. No, it is.
None of the rest of Africa is barren like that. Well, south there might be a little thing down there still.
No, it was back then.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Eminem's album.
Oh god.
Do we have to talk about this?
We talk about the first black man, then we go straight to the first white man.
We need to balance it out, man. There's too much blackness in the beginning of this.
Did any of you watch that video that I sent in the group?
Which one?
I should actually send it in the ESN group.
Which one?
The 10-minute video of.
I actually watched the whole thing whilst I was driving.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm so surprised at you, Steph.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
He sent a video to the group.
Describe what you watched.
Old school hip hop, innit?
It was DMC talking about the state of hip hop and how very articulately.
He done it really well.
Yeah, very, very well, putting his point across about how he doesn't like how the state of hip hop as it is now. He's not trying to go into anybody's pockets and take money away from everybody, but he believes that there's too much negativity, there's too much violence, there's too much drugs. Some of the points he started off with basically saying, you know, Biggie died, Pac died, and we did nothing about it. And
then he died.
Huh?
Then he died.
No.
It's not
DMC.
Oh, DMC. I thought it was Grandmaster J. Sorry.
No, not Jam Master.
He did mention him as well, innit?
He said Jam Master. Basically, he was going through a list of four rappers, you know, popular rappers that died. Where he started with what's the X? He called him X.
Yeah.
Oh, is it new? Is it really new?
Well, yes. So
okay,
yeah.
see, no, okay, I'll have a
So
listen.
he was saying, you know, all these people died and we've done nothing. We haven't changed anything. He said, yes, it's very sad that they've died, and we had, you know, little bits of memorials, and we got upset about it for a while, but then we just went back to normal. He said, if every black person that died, we did the same thing, he said maybe it would stop, because then people would see that we're killing each other or people are dying at such an alarming rate. Maybe we would stop doing it. But the music is assisting in this kind of stuff? Why is it you see guns in videos
strap,
and stuff? Why is it it's all drugs? One of the things that
Was the Adidas trainer
hit
thing,
home
innit?
with me. Yeah, okay, all right, we'll go to that. He said that if you have the power to discuss, well, first of all, he said that we smoked so much smoke back in the day,
and
that we said we drank so much that we finished the distilleries. It's like we have to get our drink straight from God. That's what he said. He said we have to get it straight from heaven because we drank out the. But you never heard that in the music. He said we smoked weed till there was nothing left. But you never heard that in a song. He said if we had the power, and he took off his Adidas and says to talk about Adidas and to have everybody in the world wearing Adidas up to today. Then what does it mean then what kind of power is that if I'm just talking about weed? If I'm just talking about violence?
Lean. He mentioned lean.
Yeah, he mentioned lean, yeah. So that was basically the thing he was saying. He said, he just feels that there should be some sort of balance. He said, he mentioned Kendrick Lamar and Jake and Chance. He picked them two out as the type of people that we need more of.
Yeah, we do.
We just need more of those kind of rappers. He said we just need some sort of balance.
There does need to be a balance.
Back in the day, there was a variety of rappers, and they always. One thing he spoke about was social
awareness.
So he said anything that happened, there'd be a rap song about it soon after. Rappers would talk about what's going on
in the streets,
in society. He said even rock stars don't do it. He said back in the day, all the artists used to talk about what was happening. We used to discuss things, and you spread that out in the music, and you let the masses know this is what's going on in our area, or this is what's going on with society. Now we don't talk about nothing but yeah, that's what we talk about, right?
Lean,
and my breasts are bigger than yours, or whatever they talk about, innit?
Oh no, it's true.
Yeah, so that's what he's saying. We just need a bit of a balance.
Dancehall used to be exactly the same.
Yeah. Yes.
In my youth, I learned about Nelson Mandela and the struggle that was going on from songs.
Yes. Dancehall or reggae?
No, dancehall. Dancehall used to talk about stuff.
Okay.
Raga.
Yeah. There was a song called Man something about Mandela So Real, and he talked about President Botha, the whole thing that happened in South Africa. He spoke about it in the song.
Did he kill a gay man at the end?
No, there was no killing of the gay man. That's what I'm talking about. That era was such that they were politically conscious, and like you said, they did social commentary with their music.
Yeah, it's even people like Public Enemy. Even your gangster rappers were talking about
what's going on.
Was the struggle on the street with the police and certain gang things.
What's funny is that even up until Vybz Kartel, he used to do it as well. There were tunes that he would have about political parties, about what's going on with the political economy. He would talk about what's happening with political rivalry between parties. Like he again was on the pulse and had songs that also talked about real issues. Bounty Killer was another massive one.
Bounty Killer
with that as well. He was another massive one with it. So there was a consciousness, and yes, it has gradually just disappeared out.
And that's why a lot of people will say. A lot of people say that there is not a hidden agenda, but a agenda out there when it comes to the current state of hip hop and music. When conspiracy. I'm a conspiracy man. I know that Simple Simon is as well.
Gaza.
And I think that
I like the way he included about it. Before I continue, let me bring somebody else into the arena.
Yeah, man.
So we can tag each other.
Trust me, because the I don't know whether they're Jews or
Here we go.
Not the
podcast done.
Not the original Jews as
Zionists.
You understand, who have taken over the music and entertainment industry, bruv, and they kind of push a certain agenda, bruv. It's mad, and I think that agenda is real. It's not
I'm not
that should be taken for granted.
Of course, they use hip hop to as a weapon. We know this.
Yeah,
already.
but as a weapon to do what?
To do bad to the black people. We know this already. But let's get back to the white boy.
Ooh, Eminem's.
Eminem has released his second album this year. The last one was Revival earlier a few months ago,
which you already said should have been dead.
It came out. We discussed it. It was
Revival was a couple of months ago. I thought that was last year.
A few months ago.
It wasn't that long ago, bro.
It can't be last year, man.
This year, I think.
But yes, our resident fact checker will check it. But basically, he came out with an album within a year, and it got slated. You know. The people that were reviewing it didn't really give it the best ratings in the world.
It was terrible.
Yeah, I said that. What's it? Slammer or Slasher or whatever had a better verse on the album than
came out the 15th of December.
Okay,
2017.
Sorry. Well, okay,
very
late last year. But anyways, he's come out with a new album now called Kamikaze. He just dropped it today. We're recording on Friday. and
it was a secret drop as well.
Nobody knew it was coming out. It just dropped it, bang, and
14 tracks, isn't it?
Yeah, with a couple of interludes, good interludes actually, and it's a good album. And what he does mostly throughout at least the first like 3 or 4 songs is just going at people that insulted the last album, picking them out by names.
Oh wow!
Picking out other rappers and just gunning them.
People like who? Like journalists?
Yeah.
Okay. Charlamagne got it. Joe Budden got it twice.
We did throw a couple daggers there.
He spoke about the D12 and their breakup.
Why is he upset, man? If the thing was shit, man.
This is what I'm saying. This is what you know what he kept saying.
I don't agree with it.
He kept saying through the album, because this album is a good album. Yeah, it's
okay.
It's a solid. Yes, it's a good, solid album. It's a good album.
How many times have you listened to it?
About twice now.
Yeah,
twice.
because I've already started to skip songs.
Yeah, okay. But for me, the songs that are good are him, because the beats are alright.
Yeah, he didn't produce them.
Lyrically, he went in.
He did. Mike and Will made it. I was what? I think he's making a statement with him.
He definitely is making a statement. In fact, let's discuss it first, and then I'll say that what I feel he's doing with this album. Because he's definitely making a point. But I think it's going to backfire.
Potentially, because people are going to say that this album's better than the other ones.
Because I think what he's doing is he's incorporated sounds and styles from what I think he looks down on in rap, and he's put it into this album. But the thing is, the styles and the things that he's incorporated is, I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with some of the beats that we're listening to, and there's not necessarily anything wrong with some of the rapping styles we're listening to. It's the lyrics and maybe the voice. If I can hear you, because there's a bit where he's talking like that, and then he talking like this. He makes reference to, I can't understand what you're saying. He starts rapping like I can't make.
Okay.
But the point is, he goes back into his normal thing and splits frames. So he basically now he's got decent beats. Obviously, he's always going to be a good lyricist. Even the last album that wasn't good, he was still a good lyricist. So he's got good beats and good lyrics. So that's why it's a good album.
Eminem's biggest problem is the fact somebody allowed him to think he can make beats. His beats are rubbish.
Oh, see,
they're terrible. Enough. Terrible, depressing rock white boy beats. Nobody was saying.
So he's got commercialist beats. So what's the Look Alive by JB Block and whatever, and the one and Drake, the one that people did that song to. Yeah. So he's got a version of that song basically where it's called Not Alike. With Royce 5'9".
Royce 5'9", yeah.
Yeah, Royce is rapping differently in that one as well, which I didn't appreciate.
He raps differently. Yeah, when they rap together, they feed off each other, innit? But the point is, it sounds very similar. He's got a very similar kind of beat. It starts off like that and it changes. And I think he's just insulting that kind of music. Yeah. But it's a good song.
But the thing is,
it's a good song.
I think I even said it in the group. Yeah, what did I say? This album is an act of appeasement. Like, he tried to use the sounds of other rappers that the other rappers are using. So for me, the album,
but I think he's doing it as a snub.
Yeah, but the album was a decent album. Yeah, but the problem I had was that he was going in the creative direction that he felt like he had graduated to, that where he was in his life, and we didn't like that sound. And rather than continue doing the sound that he wanted to do, he's now come and done this album that gets your attention because it's on the pulse of what everybody else is doing at this particular time. Yeah, but hang on, let me finish. He's on the pulse of what everyone's doing at this particular time, but he's just done it with the technical rap ability. So he's saying, look, I'm rapping rings around you whilst I'm pretending to rap like you and rapping in my own style as well. You lot are shit, but this is what you want. This is boring to me. Like, it's boring to him. To me, this didn't seem like he did this because he had to make a reply to show, hold on a minute, you lot said that album was shit. All right, I can still do all of that rubbish from before. You've made me go back into my old self. There's even one track where he talks about a fan gave him an old CD and said, rap like this.
And said, if I rap like this, I'd be like everybody else. Yeah,
and this is basically what this album is. And now we're all going to lap this up and love it. It's like the biggest troll.
No, I don't think
he was angry.
I don't think that he's rapping like everyone else. I think he does bits where he pretends to rap like everyone else. I don't think the reason why people are liking it is because he's rapping like everyone else. People are liking it because it's Eminem, and Eminem has stands. Simple and plain.
I know what Eminem stand. He said the last album was shit.
He created a stand basically. But in the end, this album. The reason why people are talking about this album is because he's just blatantly cussing people. That is the thing that everybody's focusing on.
Even the bits, yeah. But when that dies down, this will still be a decent album.
It's okay album. I think it's okay.
It's decent.
I still think there's certain songs that I just skip again. Anytime that I've looked at the ones I've skipped as well, and I look at the producer, it's him again. I'm like, stop producing your own music. Nobody wants to hear your music. You got the best known producer in the game as your man, your back, and you decided to go and use yourself. Stop doing that. White supremacy at its finest. There's a black man behind you. Use a black man. Dr. Dre's behind you.
Hang on. Use the black man.
Yes, use him.
Nah.
Use him. Yes, Bows. As far as I'm concerned, in the end, lyrically, again, he's always going to be good, and he was good. The question that I ask you guys is, Charlemagne put out a tweet saying, well, boy, if Joe Budden decides to come out of retirement to go out Eminem, I know who I'm going to put my money on, and I'm going to put it on Joe Budden. What do you say? If the beef comes up now and Joe Budden says, you know what, I'm coming back in the ring to fight Eminem one time, 2 bars, a couple of songs, who you going for?
Why don't Joe Budden rap anymore?
Because he didn't make money from it.
He said he's retired and he's happy doing other stuff.
He's making money from all the other stuff. The money's not in the music.
Fair enough.
He's very passionate about the fact that there's no money in the music. So,
in his music.
In music in general.
You know what? Pusha T was right. It's a surgical summer, because technically summer ain't really over yet, is it?
Boy,
Well,
summer's after,
for one,
over after the carnival.
I don't see Joe Budden retorting, for one. And for
I don't see
two,
that either.
even if he did, he'd get battered.
You reckon he'll get battered by?
Listen,
I don't know if Eminem's
I am one of Joe Budden's biggest fans. Yeah, not just since the podcast, because I know a lot of our listeners listen to that podcast too. It's way before, from his first album. I've got that. I knew all the lyrics for all the songs. I was a big fan. I am a big fan of Joe Budden. I think he's one of the best lyricists out there. I truly believe that. And he's a decent battle rapper. He's not no waste. But Eminem as a battle rapper is flames. Yeah. And I think later, as things have gone further down the line with Joe Budden, I think he's become less a good of a battle rapper. He was better before than he is now. Now he's too cerebral with it.
Is he still battle rapping though?
No, the last one I had with Drake and he was sending shots, and I don't think the songs were particularly
making
good.
them murderers. You don't like him?
I'm not saying I don't like him. But Drake came out. What's that? Drake had a song with who's the Arab one?
Arab one.
Khalid.
No, not Khalid. The other one.
No, the one.
I know
the one on Bad Boy. Yeah. So it was the
I don't even know his name.
Yeah, it was the high person song.
French Montana.
French Montana's song, and if you can search for it, and it Drake featured on it, and he had a couple of lines shot at John, and that was it for me. He beat with those just couple of lines.
Speaking of Drake.
Couple of lines.
Speaking of Drake, Eminem went at him.
He went at, but again, Drake might do something on a live or something because he's doing his tour at the moment. Maybe he might say something on tour, but I can't see him coming back.
I don't understand why he's going at Drake. Drake has never said anything.
Because what he's saying. Remember, he's talking in this now. He's talking about the state of hip hop. Not only is he talking about you lot have attacked my album because you don't. What he said is in numerous different ways.
Annoyed me a lot.
You don't get my album. That's what he said. You don't get it.
No, we get it, and it was rubbish.
Yeah. You don't get my album. You keep saying it. You don't get it. You don't get it. You don't get it. You know, you're looking at these other people and they're popular, and you know, I'm above them. I'm beyond them. I'm the God MC. All right. Now,
no, he's not.
Drake has ghostwriters. How can you raise him up and talk about his album is wicked and he's a wicked artist, and me that has never, like he said, I've written every single line.
Every hook I've said.
Everything I've written myself. So how are you putting this person on your channel and you're comparing him to me? Because he's got ghostwriters. He said, well, I don't know what a ghost is, or I don't believe in ghosts, or something like that. So that is a shot that if you have, and most real hip hoppers will say this, most like bar for bar rappers will say this, don't compare somebody that has bars written for them with me.
Yeah, but
we can talk about them as being
you can say
stars.
You can say whose album's better.
You can talk about being stars and stuff, but as a rapper, don't compare them.
Yeah, but you can say whose album's better. Simple and plain. Which one's better out of Scorpion and Revival?
The Red Hot Revival.
Which one's better?
Scorpion, but Scorpion got so many songs. In fact, Eminem's last album had a decent amount of songs.
Yes,
as well.
Exactly.
But yeah, Scorpion is better because the good songs are good.
Exactly. So in the end,
and Revival just doesn't have any. It's got a decent song.
Again, lyrically, we know that Eminem's gonna be up there and he's gonna be fire.
Which album's better between Scorpion and Revival? Daytona.
Somebody tried to come and say that this album was better than Daytona. It was on Twitter. It was somebody I didn't know, so I left it. But I really wanted to go in on this human being and say, don't ever out of your mouth, out of your filthy mouth, say that this album is better than Daytona. Daytona still gets played now. I played Daytona in the gym yesterday.
Yes.
Isn't that what Twitter's for?
Not for me. Not when I want. Not when I don't want no problems with it. I don't want to have any problems with people that support Eminem and telling me Eminem's a grace.
I ain't got a problem.
I don't want to talk to them because they don't have sense. So I just left it. Because sometimes man was saying it's better than Daytona. I just said, come on, man.
Be easy.
Daytona's still. Whatever Kanye West has done with his life, Daytona is the good thing he did this year.
Yeah, definitely.
He's got a new song out as well, innit, called Ecstasy.
Is that would you put that on Kanye West? I'm not putting that on him.
No, but he did all the beats.
Oh, the beats were bad, bro.
Yeah, the beats are good, but
If you have an album where you have one producer and one artist, Gangstar, who think like Run DMC, he did the production. Then you have to B-Rock and CL Smooth. You have to give props to the producer. You don't single out the producer.
I just don't want to, man.
When you, like Prime, when you have Primo doing all of
Kanye no props at all.
I don't get all the stuff.
He came to apologize.
Yeah, he apologized as well.
Fuck his apology.
He apologized.
He's apologized. He went on to a radio station and he said sorry for
just like my apology.
He didn't say sorry shit. Because what they say nowadays is they don't say I'm sorry that I said what I said. I apologize. They say I'm sorry if I hurt you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry if it offended anybody. And it's like, okay, but do you actually disagree with what you say? Are you taking back what you said? Or are you just sorry that you hurt somebody?
All I'm saying is Pusha's a poet, innit?
Yeah, Pusha. Man, can we get back to poet?
Let's get back to
Pusha?
Pusha is a poet. He said, you are having a child and still I rise.
Nah, after Eminem album's alright, it's nothing special. Man like D Double E came out today. Let's not ever disrespect the fact that D Double E came out.
You know what I was most surprised about the D Double E album?
What?
It had 14 tracks on it.
Yeah, I was shocked about that as well. I didn't think it had that many tracks. But it was good though.
I thought it was more than 14.
It was like 14 tracks on there. I was like, what's going on?
But
it might have been more. It might have been 18 actually.
I thought it was 20 or something. But
it was a lot.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I like the album, man.
What I thought was, before listening to it, I said, I bet there's not one bad song on the album.
Oh, I haven't got through all
the way.
There's
20 songs. I bet it's 20 tracks. There's got a couple of interludes.
I haven't been through all
there's no bad song on the album, but I will say it does kind of
sound the same.
Yeah, it does kind of. Unfortunately,
he's for D Double E fans.
I'm a fan of D Double E, but this does sound a bit. I mean, it's not. It's anyway, but there's no bad songs on the album. Anyway,
It's a good album.
Yeah.
And did you see? Have you heard? Gets his Black Rose as well.
Yeah, you want to discuss that?
I was going to bring that up.
All right, yeah, bring that up. Let Mr. Wolf is the one that brought it to the.
Don't forget what you were going to say about Eminem, by the way.
Me?
Yeah, you said you had something that you was going to tell us.
No, I've said it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Ghetts has brought out a tune called Black Rose.
And video.
And a video. I heard the song first, and the thing is that I rarely watch videos nowadays, you know. But this was one of the songs, or one of the tunes that you needed to watch the video. And
I ain't seen the video yet, you know.
Neither have I.
His daughter says, "Dad, why do I not see any dollies like me?" And
in the shop or something.
In the shop, and he kind of went on to give props to black women, and I felt that was a good look.
He talks about colorism a lot.
He does.
And you know,
separation from Africa
and how like the black man doesn't not support, but
he could more be better. How the black man could do better.
Yeah,
be better.
Like your friend on Instagram, innit? Basically,
yes.
That. So one person says it, you put him down. The other one says it, and you bigging him up.
He didn't really put it on the guy. He just said that sometimes he makes it.
I want all the smoke.
Seems like he wants vagina for the way he's talking.
I think he's an attention seeker.
Yeah.
Okay,
and I don't think Ghetts is in that same respect. The thing about Ghetts, though.
Yeah. Do you know what I like about Ghetts? Yeah, I like that I like the way he transitioned.
I'm not talking about
from
Ghetts,
what,
by the way. Just so people know, he's not an attention seeker.
Okay, I like the way he's transitioned as an artist and the way he delivers. So back in the grime days, I used to love the angry.
Are you saying grime is dead?
No, I'm saying I'm talking about grime is different now. Grime is not what it was, isn't it? Back in the days when grime was still, when it was raw. Like I like the way the way he used to go at it and deliver his lyrics, and then gradually, as he kept, like when he first came out of prison, he was on fire. He was like angry, and he was barking at the mic all the time. And gradually, as he's gotten older, you hear that he's
matured.
Yeah, but his delivery has grown with him, and it's changed. And he's they got to a point where he goes calm, and you hear all of the words that he's saying, and then he can bring it back up to that younger rage that he used to have before. Like, as an artist, you really do feel.
Ask Carlos.
Yeah, ask Carlos a bad boy in jail. Ask Carlos. He makes you feel the emotion of what he's saying with the way he delivers his lyrics. And as he's growing, the content is also growing with him. Like, it's a nice progression to see. That's what I really like about Ghett.
Yeah, I like Ghett, man.
How did you feel though, Simple, on the release of this track? You mentioned something in the group. I don't know if you want to share that with us.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the track, yeah, I mentioned that it's, maybe I'm the black guy that brings black people down, but I mentioned the fact that why did it take for his child now to come and say this, for him to basically echo something that everybody else has been screaming for time.
But did the child actually say it?
From how the video was set out and how the song comes, it was on what his daughter said to him that made him think, you know what? Why is it that my daughter can't see this?
But is that not just maybe something done for the video? Are you sure it's actually the real thing?
Well, we don't know the facts, but that's what it looks like.
I'm not taking that as gospel.
No,
Ghetto gospel, big up man like Ghett. But I just think that it's potentially, I don't know. I know he said certain things like in the past that he didn't notice it. So I think in the tune he said something about, it's not something I've really thought about, but now I'm thinking about it a bit more. I think he says that. I can't remember.
I think evolution is good though, because not everybody kind of comes from that perfect place, innit? You're going to get some people that were brought up a certain way who will know, my black woman is the strength of the family and so forth.
Roll back.
But there are some men who, maybe due to their upbringing and due to the circumstances that they've been brought up, the cards that they've been dealt, they don't know about this, and they've heard people disrespect black women. We hear about the beauty that's been portrayed out there that's supposed to be a white European straight-haired woman, and they've had to learn it through maybe their peers and other people that they respect.
For me, with this, it's one thing if the information is underneath a rock and you have to go underneath that rock to go and find that information, and it's another thing when it is part of the social consciousness and community and a loud part of the conversations that we're having, like within our own peer group and outside of our peer group. As long as you are black and you are on some type of social media, there is a high probability that and you've heard these arguments being spat over and over and over again.
Wouldn't you say that part of the culture and community is to knock down the black woman?
Sorry?
Is to knock down the black woman.
I'm saying it's happening enough.
The negative part of...
Yeah, but it's happening enough and it's visible enough for a man to have been able to see that. So for me, when you come and talk about it like, I never thought about it before, I never noticed it before, to me it's like somebody...
And we're assuming that, by the way.
No, you just said that. He said that in the track.
I'm not saying that he's saying that he didn't notice it before, but I don't know. It's something about like maybe he's not.
When you wrote what you wrote, Simple, I didn't co-sign it.
I'm not co-signing that thing about the daughter. I don't think the daughter's the reason. But I think in the song he might have said, might have not even been about the colorism. It might have just been about how women are treated. It might have been about the woman thing. And he said, we don't really think about how you lot are this and that, and you've done all of this stuff. So maybe that's what I'm talking about. Some
people come to that part of the road in their own time.
No, I get that.
Sorry, I should say different people come at different times.
No, I get that. I get that progress is a thing that happens differently for different people. I get that. But for me, sometimes there are obvious and blatantly obvious issues that are at the forefront and on the tip of every conversation. No, and for you to miss them,
I don't think he's missed it.
So then
you're saying he's willfully ignorant.
Yeah, he must have either not cared about it before, and now all of a sudden he cares about it because he's got a vested interest.
Or we can just say what you're saying now, where it's in the media, everybody's talking about it, and he wants to make a song about it.
Yeah, but how long has it been in the media?
It hasn't really been in the media that much. It's this recently, when it proper flared up again, it was the Maya Jama thing. That's when it flared up proper. Apart from that, I don't really think people was that much going into it. Then again, I was at Twitter.
Here's the thing. If you're not on social media, you might not be having these conversations at all.
He's on social media.
Yeah, but I mean, he might not be. I think maybe he's just dealing with people that are atting him or stuff that deals with crime. I don't know. Or maybe he's reading mainstream news.
I'm saying
he might not be dealing with black Twitter like that.
Bro, I'm saying to you that as far as you're on Twitter and someone like Ghett being on Twitter, he's gonna be part of black Twitter whether you like it or not. Everybody knows that if you're on black Twitter, there is always at least one person who's going to come up and say, How comes there aren't any black women in your videos? How comes what? There's always gonna be one. There's always one.
I'm not accepting that, man.
Oh my days.
I'm not thinking that he's necessarily getting involved in those types of debates and conversations. And when I have seen him talk about certain things, he talks about quite deep stuff. Like a lot of the times I've seen him tweet stuff that's going on in foreign countries and how Britain and America have been treating foreign countries and stuff like that. So, I don't. One thing I don't think gets is stupid.
So then that means...
Hold on, let me finish.
You didn't care then?
So... Maybe it's not even the case they didn't care.
Let me finish.
I think there's certain things that maybe, for one, we need to go to listen to every single one of his songs as well. I can't say that I've listened to every one of his songs. I've listened to a couple of his albums. I don't know if there's one that's as prevalent as this. He spoke about a lot of social issues to do with black people in his albums, though. So maybe this now he wants to discuss colorism. This is something now he's wanting to put in his album. I don't see anything wrong with man doing it now. You don't have to do everything all the time, every time. And I don't think that it's because he's... Well, he might be. He may say, come and tell us, yeah, it's my daughter made me feel like that. Fair enough, that's the case. That's how it went. Maybe that's how it goes. Him being a dark-skinned brother, and he is dark-skinned, I wouldn't expect him not to understand colorism. Because there was a time when, light skin was Superman, and he was clearly the enemy.
Man said, light skin was Superman, and he was clearly the enemy.
Shout out Lex Luthor.
Life is
we do
good.
like Lex, Lex OG still.
I just let's not dump it all on him. Maybe he just doesn't.
I'm not dumping on him. I like Ghett. I won't say I'm a Ghett fan because that would imply that I've listened to all these albums and I really haven't. My thing with Ghett, I liked it. From radio station days. Yeah, I used to like him on radio station days, and that was my era in grime, really, to be honest with you. So I think I listened to maybe Ghetto Gospel once.
Ghetto Gospel's a hard album, man.
But I haven't really gone over it. So
I don't actually like any of his albums.
I think personally that it would be nice if more of our artists, more of our good grime, hip hop artists, whatever you want to call them, do more songs like this. Because we were talking about it with DMC. We're talking about what DMC is talking about on that video.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Maybe we'll throw that on Twitter. It was a 10-minute video.
Yeah, so we can't post a whole 10-minute video on Twitter, unfortunately.
Can't you?
Not unless you've got that blue tick, I believe.
Okay, well, we'll post some of it and maybe post it twice or something like that. And then, half and half.
Are you going to post it?
I'll post it, no problem.
Okay.
And, I would like more of our artists, more of our British artists, more of the guys here to speak more on these kind of topics, man.
Is it just me that doesn't? Really,
I know you don't probably care, but
I care, but then I don't care. I'm just not asking nobody to.
No, it's not. I'm not asking them. I'm just saying that it would be nice.
There's no problem. It's no problem.
Ain't no problem.
Anyway, I get it. Let me keep my mouth closed. I get it. Yes, it would be nice if they did more songs like this. If there was a balance, just like DMC said.
Balance. Siaga.
Boom.
Anyway, so you might hear about Odell Beckham JR by any chance?
Who is that? It's not David's.
No. Odell Beckham is Odell Beckham Jr. is Odell Beckham's son.
He's the son of Odell.
He's the son of Odell.
Who's Odell?
I can't remember if his dad does NFL as well.
That man over there.
I don't know. I can't remember if his dad did NFL as well.
Let's not even get into that. The guy is Odell Beckham. He's an American football star. We're gonna have a conversation about something we don't know.
Anyway, so
is he the guy that does like a lot of the kind of commentary, the dark skin brother?
Who?
Who does a ding ding kind of debates?
I don't know.
Odell
Beckham Jr. is an American football star.
Okay.
Anyway, so he signed
let me Google him.
A record making deal. Yeah, he's signed a $95 million deal. It's a 5-year contract. It's an extension at the New York Giants, and the deal is reportedly worth $95 million, making him the highest paid wide receiver in the history of NFL. Yeah, he's only 25 years of age. So I was gassed about this because this news came out maybe 3 days ago, 28th of August. Yeah, we're recording on the 31st, so it's about 3 days ago. I'm super gassed about this because I'm like, wow, one of the most expensive wide receivers in the history of the game is a young black man at age 25. I'm like feeling,
bruv,
yeah,
all wide receivers are black men.
Fair enough, but I'm just saying like he's the highest paid in history.
Most American football players. The ratio is like, I would say about 80-20 black.
Okay. So I was like, highest paid in history. That's the bit that I was gassed about. So I'm excited. Today, I open news article and it says Aaron Rodgers is to become the highest paid NFL player in NFL history with a deal worth 180 million. He's a quarterback for Green Bay Packers.
Quarterbacks make money.
Aaron Rodgers, for one, is the real deal. Yeah.
What does that mean?
He's a good player.
You're a bad man.
Yeah, Odell's a good player too, but quarterbacks get the most money in it. They're the focal point of the team. They get the most money. It's like a striker for a football team. For those of you listeners that don't know anything about American football, the quarterback is the most important player by rights.
He does all the plays. He's the one that tells you what you're gonna do. He's
like a captain.
Okay. Yeah, because the people outside the team actually tell you what to do. But I mean, outside the field, you have umpteen coaches that are actually telling you do this, do that. But on the end of the day, the quarterback is the person that takes those rules, tells them what they're doing, because he's got the microphone in his helmet. He says,
Blue 22.
So he hears this. They tell him this. He then implements it. But if he sees something he doesn't like on the other side, if he has a bad feeling, he changes that. They call it an audible, and he just changes it there and then, and he says, "Nah, we're gonna do this instead." And that's the point. Like the team, American football is unlike football where. Well, I guess it is similar to normal football where the manager tells you what to do and you do it. But in American football, it's every single play. The managers, the coaches are telling you what to do for every single play.
It's a very stop-start.
So, yeah. So, in this case now, the quarterback is the person that can say, he's the only one really that can say, no, I'm doing this.
So can I ask you a question?
That's why it's so important. Because he's got all of that on his shoulders.
Can I ask you a question though?
Go
on. You said that wide receivers, most of them are black.
Yeah.
Are most of the quarterbacks black as well?
No.
So the people that can tell every fucking body else on the pitch what to do are mostly white.
Let me tell you a black quarterback. Do you want to tell you one?
Go on.
Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah. And
you do know that he's in the news now. I think his case is being allowed to go to court.
Yeah. About the fact that they've blackballed him. Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
No, I'm just saying, like, I was happy about my man being the record breaking, history making wide receiver with his 95 million deal, and then this Aaron Rodgers guy come along at 34 years of age, got a 4-year deal that's worth 134 million, making him the highest paid player in history. Right. Period. Not position, just player in history.
That'll get taken over soon, I'm sure.
Bro.
Yeah. Ratings to the butter though, the Odell.
Definitely.
Because he's not 25 yet.
He's 25.
Ain't that the same one that woman tried to say didn't want to sit next to her because she's ugly? The one from Girls.
Boy, I don't know about all that, boy.
I think that's the one, you know. I think that's Odell Beckham Jr. Yeah, because there was. I think it's him. There was a time
he said he didn't want to sit next to.
There was a time that she thought that they sat next to each other in the Grammys or something like that, and he didn't talk to her, and she decided that he didn't want to talk to her because she was ugly, and she just came out.
So she came with that.
You know them people there.
Mad thing. Okay,
whatever.
And outside of that, another sports-related one. Today's been a good day for sports, yeah? So, Usain Bolt made his debut.
His professional football debut.
Yeah, professional football debut. It was a friendly match in the Australian A-League for Club Central Coast Mariners. Came on 70.
What a name.
Yeah, you know, like that. came on at 71 minutes. Unfortunately, he didn't score, but it's his first run out. And he's doing this at 30. How old is he? 32, I think it is.
But he's Usain Bolt, innit?
Yeah.
He tried to do a trial for United. They said no.
Yeah, he trained with Borussia Dortmund as well.
They told him, run, brother, run.
But he was saying that...
And I'll make it.
The thing that he's finding most difficult with football is getting used to the fitness regime. Because he said with his 100 metre and his 200 metre sprinting, you sprint. In football, you sprint, you slow down. You sprint again, you slow down, you turn. So he's saying that he's the hardest thing for him is like getting his head around how the new training regime works and this idea of the way your speed is used in a completely different way. So, but he said he's enjoying it or whatever. Man's doing that at 32, but I'm happy, bruv. I'm happy for him.
Good on him, man. Good on him.
Definitely, you know, like that.
He looks older than his age, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah.
He does a bit.
But when you run that fast, you know,
I look younger than him.
You're breaking the time streams.
I remember that his foot looked mash up. When they showed his foot live, boy, that was not a serious foot, boy.
You can understand it.
It's got to grip that ground.
Whoa. Didn't your man go carnival this year?
Nope.
Carnival.
No.
The carnival is like, after the carnival is like the official end of the summertime, innit? You know, we had Simple Simon talking about surgical summer, but the summer's over now, fam. The weather is tells us all about that as well,
My
man.
missus put the heater on yesterday. I came in the house, the heater was on. I was vexed.
Yeah, boy.
That was wasted the money. The money started to waste. I was in credit.
The thing is that there's, because
I was in credit, fam.
in most houses there's like a rule in it. In some houses that there's a rule you don't put the heater on from like April to September or something like that.
I have not heard that rule.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No reason for that to be on. I was in credit. I said, look, listen, I'm in
And now
credit,
look.
fam.
Yeah,
Now
but
you
nah.
went to waste that credit.
I didn't go carnival. You know what? If the weather was nice, maybe leading up to the carnival as it has been or as it was in July and June and May, I actually wanted to go, but the weather kind of changed my mood.
You should have told me, man, because I was ongoing, but I had no one to go with.
If
really.
you came, if you just actually just did something for once in your life and actually came, we would have probably come. You need sometimes you need to, yeah. Well, let me not say because you do like leading, but in this instance, because Stavros doesn't live too far from where Carnival is, and he lives other end of London, so I understand he didn't want to drive all the way down there for nothing. But you could have. Your wifey was there anyways. You could have.
No, she was in the band, man. I'm not doing that, fam.
She was doing what?
She was in like the floats.
Your missus?
Yeah, man.
Oh, for real?
She
Doing
one of
what?
the floats. Just walking behind them doing dance.
Oh, what, in the whole?
No, not in the full. What's it called?
Regalia. I know
Yeah,
that.
regalia. She just did the T-shirt
Costume.
Oh, okay.
But you tell you the one I want to do, and these like were looking at me like I was mad. I want to do the one where they throw the paint on you, man.
Like I cannot believe my brother said he would want to somebody
what's that
throwing
called again?
paint
That's
at him.
Juve.
That's what I want to do, man.
So you want to throw paint on people?
Yes, and I want people to throw paint on me.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Nah, but a lot of madness happened in the carnival, you know.
Yes, I want to be thrown paint on.
A lot of madness happened in the carnival. There was videos going around of people apparently giving head.
I don't see. This is what I don't get, man.
And people banging and doing all kinds of.
But why are you banging in the middle of the open road? I don't
Do you
get
know
it.
what? It's almost a case of that brother. Remember that brother on New Year's Eve, who was he eating a woman out?
Oh, yes, he was, and I know his name, but I'm gonna let him live for
Just
once.
allow
man.
him a minute because
Yeah.
people have almost forgotten his name.
No, no one will ever forget the man's
yeah, but
name.
can you see what social media has done to
Who are you
us?
talking about? Dominic Siddiq? No,
Oh man,
Let the man live.
the man live, man.
The man's like Candyman, you know. I say his name 3 times, he's gonna come lick you out. That's how it goes.
Yeah, so basically, I think social media has become so prominent that when people see that now, it's like, nah, it's just another madness.
Nah, it's getting too much.
The girl got identified, you know?
Yeah, but,
when I
no,
beat
but
the girl on the train.
no, the girl that was apparently given head, innit?
Yeah. Congolese girl, isn't it?
Of course, man, because her face was all up in the video.
Yeah, but-
all up in the video.
But she ain't gonna get the
Apparently
same backlash, though.
She just recently had a child.
Hold on, the man is getting
Wow.
more backlash than the woman.
How do you know?
Yes.
How do you know all of this
Whoa.
information?
Because the internet is one of those places.
How does man know how much children you've got?
The internet is undefeated, bro.
Trust me.
Nah, man. I would have gone carnival this year, but I wanted to go with the man them. I wanted to eat though. That's all I wanted to do at carnival.
You should have gone carnival 10 years ago, bro.
Have you been carnival before?
Of course, I've been to carnival before.
Okay.
But I wanted to go there. I wanted to eat I wanted to eat some suya and I wanted to eat some jerk. And
When's the last time you went carnival then?
must be about 5 years, 6 years ago.
Okay,
Maybe
not
even
too
longer than
bad.
that.
My one's way longer.
Maybe even longer than that. I can't remember the last time. I think the last time I went carnival might have been with Simple. You know.
Raw, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, I can't remember the last
That's
time. I
over
went
10
carnival.
years ago.
Boy, it's a long time.
So it's just me that went last year.
Yeah,
You took your daughter, innit?
Yeah, that's because
And she was only one at the time.
she had recently turned 1. It was such an impromptu thing. And I think my missus, because she enjoyed it so much, she actually wanted to go this year. She wanted to go on a Sunday. Sunday was rained out. She's like, I ain't doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. And then on the Monday, I think she was kind of looking for somebody to push her over the thing.
Come on, let's go.
So that's what I'm saying. If my brother had come down, then she probably would have said, all
I won't go
right,
with
then
the
let's go. All right, then let's go. Huh?
I wanted to go with the man them.
You want to
Yeah.
go to Monday?
I wanted to go with the man them.
I
Wanted
see
the man them to go out for
another
once.
video of a woman standing on her buggy,
Oh, that's deep.
and the baby was in the buggy.
Yeah. And the buggy was next to a speaker.
It's mad. And then another one where a woman's pushing her buggy, and she was dirty whining on some brother, and the wine was mad. You see it?
I haven't seen that one.
man.
Yes, bruv.
But I feels like I want to be slightly proud of that for the fact that you could do the two things at the same time.
Kind of, but it just.
all right.
And then the mad one where the woman was lying in the street. You must have seen this one. And then a guy come to kind of jump on her, and then 2 other people came behind him, and then the kind of screen went up to the white folks that were standing looking in the window.
That video was so funny.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
I was I was disappointed by the people in the street though.
Did any of them skank better than Theresa May though? Because I don't. I think you know what? Stav said it earlier on the Twitter, and I agree with Stav. Let the woman dance, man. Let her dance. Let her have some fun in her life,
Theresa
man.
May
Let her do something,
man.
No,
Theresa May does enough nonsense for you to insult her about.
Yes,
she is just dancing like a typical old British woman.
Yes,
leave her alone.
Leave her alone. Let her
man.
skank, man.
I don't see anything
when
particularly wrong.
Hit her, you need to just do their movements.
I don't see anything particularly wrong with what she was doing.
I bet if Corbyn did it, people would be like, "Oh,
Corbyn,
yo."
Yeah, but the reason
I'm taking a fan out of it. Go on.
The reason why I'm the way I am about the Theresa May thing is because I know that is
she's caping.
It's a good distraction. That's
yes.
Yeah, we know we're doing evil. We know she's doing evil, right. But that don't mean the media didn't take her.
There's no good reason she's over there.
Of course, exactly. She's just trying to go and battle the Chinese now.
Them lot talk the Brexit talk because from what it looks like we really are going to leave in March, you know. And it looks like not only are we going to leave in March, but we're going to leave with no deal.
No deal.
Yeah.
Deal or no deal.
I refuse to believe it's going to happen.
So my girl is over there now trying to secure bases. Or
they need to make new trade links with X, Y, and Z. So
and the thing about it is now
clearly they're going to the ones where they actually have the power and the upper hand.
But again, they don't. That's the thing. Like they're going cap in hand.
No, they say they want to give us $4 million in aid.
Yeah,
to the Africans.
Exactly. So they're going cap in hand.
But hold on. But not did she say they're going to give you $4 million in aid? She then said we're going to give you $4 million in aid, but we need to have certain things. You know, certain things need to happen before we can get rid of that.
This is her in because that was you're talking about. She was in South Africa at the time doing one skank.
Kenya, the next skank.
Kenya.
She's gone to Nigeria.
Now she's in Nigeria. Well, currently as we're recording, she's in Nigeria.
So what I'm saying to you is,
she's proper doing an Afro tour, boy.
Yeah. We have the upper hand. Africans have the upper hand right now, and they should tell her to fuck off. That's what they should do, but they won't.
And Mr. Wolf completely and utterly co-signs that. And I mean, when I look at her, I just see an alien. Some kind of devil worshipping thing doing a mad skank, and that's how I see her. That's how I portray her, because what she's doing is not too dissimilar to what these fucking people, these colonizers, done those all those years ago when they came with their ships to try and take over the land. They come, they kind of sweeten you up. They say, yeah, we're here to trade, we're here to be nice, and then boom, they done a madness.
We know she's doing that.
And then they give you the Bible.
All I'm saying is she don't look like. The
Bible was already there, bro. Bible was already there.
I don't know.
Bible was already there.
Sorry.
That's what I'm saying.
Just before you go forward,
it was already there,
I just want you to know that the great Bishop Desmond Tutu, who is the bishop of the God of the Christianity, clearly said the white man came, and they came with their Bible. Well, we had all the land, and then by the time we had finished, they had all the land, and they left us with the Bible. That's the Bishop Desmond Tutu.
Okay, ban him then.
He
ban the Desmond Tutu.
Have you never heard that one before?
He paraphrased it, but that's what he said.
I've heard what he said and that kind of rhetoric.
That's one of the greatest quotes of all time.
But I'm saying it was there already. But anyway, carry on.
I still wanted to talk about the carnival thing still.
Go on.
Carnival? Go on.
Yeah, but let's finish this thing then.
No,
let's continue insulting Theresa May.
No, Mr. Wolf said that when he sees Theresa May, he sees someone evil. She just reminds me of Mr. Burns. She just looks
she's a female Mr. Burns. Mr. Burns' wife.
Mr. Burns was the evil.
In fact, it's
well.
Mr. Burns' side piece.
Jeez.
I don't know if he's banging that boy.
He was banging.
They were banging. I make fire together.
He was banging his probably banging his assistant.
Yeah, well, the assistant wanted the things, but man wasn't letting off in it. But I don't know, man. Theresa, I know she's coming there to do evil. We know she's there to do wickedness. Apparently, they were saying that some. Have you been reading? In fact, you finish your carnival thing because I want to go into the rhetoric about how people are describing Nigeria at the moment. There's a lot of back and forth about Nigeria.
Just to let people know, UK exports, South Africa is 4.4 billion, Nigeria is 2.1 billion, Kenya is 1 billion. So all of Africa, UK is 17.6 billion, and the exports to the EU is 243 billion. So you already know why she's over there, because she wants to take from us and use what is ours and sell it back. And that's what they do.
Okay.
Go on, sit down.
One of the videos during Carnival was of a woman whining with maybe a 10-year-old boy. Maybe eight, 9, 10.
He was younger than that, man.
And
like he was about 6 or 7.
He wasn't 6.
He was a child.
Okay.
Drake was hiding him.
All right, okay. He was young enough for Drake to hide.
And still, all right.
Let's say between 6 and 9, something like that. And the woman's whining with him, and there's a man, and to the point where he's leaning back. He would have fallen over, but it seemed like maybe an adult man, maybe his dad, we don't know, had a hand on his back to give him that stability, so he didn't even fall. And it was a very quick video. She went off, everyone's laughed, and the man, patted the boy on the shoulder or something like that. And so that did the rounds around social media, and people was like, "This is disgusting." If it was the other way around, if it was a man doing it to a woman, blah 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 blah. Whereas the comment on the video itself was, little man earning his stripes or something along those lines. Basically, like the man is coming of age with the whine. So what do you feel?
I agree with what they're saying.
Which part? Because the person that posted the video was bigging it up, saying, look,
if it was the other way around,
they're proud of the boy.
I think it's wrong. There's a certain culture in it that we have to acknowledge. You know what I mean? That there is a soca culture that I don't want to displace or disrespect. But for me,
you have to be careful.
For me, having a child at that age doing that with an adult is a madness. And if it was the other way around, there is no doubt that guy would have got a hammering, bruv. They would have got killed, mate.
I'm just saying now.
They'd have been called R. Kelly.
I'm not.
Or even a bishop.
The soca culture is people. The soca culture is, for me, adults dancing with adults. I'm not putting that on them dancing with kids like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That I don't want to displace the culture in it, but
you put it in there. You said there's a certain culture, and then you went to soca, and then linked it to the
no,
little boy dancing with the woman.
No. What I said is that I don't want to displace or disrespect the culture that is within the Caribbean community that is soca. And then I said, but looking at that, a child with an adult, it's just not right, bruv. I don't co-sign that one bit.
I think maybe what he's saying is that when it comes to that kind of dancing, it's a bit foreign for you in general. Maybe you see it in a club, but for people just to do that, and like you could watch your girlfriend maybe dance with a stranger in front of you, kind of like that.
No. I'm saying that the culture in it. Soca is soca. It's outdoors. It's happy. It's people dancing with each other, man and woman. But the idea of a child being involved, I don't co-sign it.
Sorry. All right,
at all.
Okay, cool. So
not one bit.
Yeah, I don't agree with that, man. When I watched it, I was like, nah, man. The boy even looked a bit scared. Like he was grabbing onto it, and he's like, "This is too much." He
was scared that he was gonna fall over, and that was it.
I don't think he wanted to do. Sometimes people get pushed into these things that they don't want to do, you know.
Maybe.
And I think he was pushed into that, and I don't think he was really wanting to. Yeah,
maybe he was embarrassed.
Maybe either way, people are filming it. People's filming paedophilia in their own way, or whatever they would call normal sexual assault. Or whatever they would call it if it was a reverse. Because if it was a reverse and there was a man,
it would be a mad thing.
In fact, there was another tweet that was almost exactly the same thing, where there was apparently one somebody said, "How old are you?" and the girl said 16 or something like that. Oh, some age, and he goes, "Well, what it goes, there is no L's or there is no something," and he went to whine the young girl. And people are like, "That's disgusting," blah, 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 blah. It's the same thing. This is even worse. This is a little boy, and he's gonna...
Do you think it's worse, though?
What?
If it was a guy doing that with an adult guy with a 9-year-old girl. Each other. Yeah, it's just as bad. But I think that society...
I don't think it's as bad as each other.
I think society looks
because men and women are not the same.
But he's not a man, that's the point.
Boys and girls are not the same. Males and females are not the same.
So he don't think that... So go on, explain to me why it's different then.
Because it's worse for a man to do that to a woman than for a woman to do that to a
girl. Well, worse for a man to do that to a child, a female girl.
An adult it's worse for an adult man to be grinding up on a pubescent girl than vice versa.
Why?
Because I just feel that women, in that respect, sexually, their bodies, girls, they're more fragile. I can't think of a better word right now, but that's just you know what I mean. So don't make a fuss. That's what I mean.
Your faults, man.
I'm not mincing what I'm saying.
But here we go.
Well, okay then you're a bit dodgy then, isn't it? Because you know what I mean.
Go on, Samson.
I feel like we're viewing something through a lens that makes it seem other than it actually is. The dancing and stuff that happens to soca music and within the carnival vibe has, for us as a Western nation, a sexualized nature about it, when in reality there isn't really the same sexualized nature about it within the Caribbean community. It is such...
I don't agree with that.
No, wait, let me finish.
I kind of hear what you're saying.
It is such that I have friends that are from St. Lucia, from Trinidad, that are direct, like, I don't know, you don't call them first generation when they're born there, do you? You call them, they're born there anyway, they're born there. And the reason why I'm saying it's maybe not as sexualized or as sexual as we're taking it.
Okay, you're saying as now, so go on.
That we're taking it is that these people are in real relationships with each other, monogamous relationships. But if they go to carnival together, there isn't a problem with either of them dancing with somebody else in this whining fashion, which would then take away the sexualized nature of it in the way that we're looking at it. So I'm saying the culture doesn't have that sexuality about it.
That's what I was trying to mention when I was saying that it seems a bit foreign, people dancing with people.
Yes.
So when you then bring a child into the equation,
it looks
that kind of thing.
Yeah. So now when you have the sexualized lenses on, you're looking at this as a sexual dance, a sexual performance like that, as a misunderstanding, and then you put a child into the act, and then all of a sudden it becomes worse. It becomes everything else. It becomes paedophilia, it becomes abuse, it becomes all of the other stuff. But in reality, this dancing, although it seems to have a sexual nature, it isn't that at its core, if that makes sense.
I'm gonna just interrupt you quickly. 2 seconds, Stavros. The video didn't bother me. I'll let you continue.
Yeah, so for me, when I looked at the video, I looked at it in the context of what I know the culture to be, and I didn't see the sexualized nature. Although, when people were having their outrage, I could understand from a Western point of view why they felt the way they felt about it.
I have to co-sign everything that you just said there, man.
Nah.
But you just changed your tune then.
Yeah. Now, men can learn and listen. Yeah, but this is what I said at the very beginning. I don't want to take away the culture that is, and from why I'm saying I co-sign him. Simple sign is because yes, I had sexualized lenses on. Standard, simple as that. I don't think it was the wrong lens to have, considering the climate that we have,
the context of where you're
and the culture you're
and where I'm from and the culture. But when you kind of have it described in that way, then yeah.
But the point is, you say the culture because I feel back home you would have, and so now I'm talking Africa, West Africa, Nigeria specifically. I believe, growing up, I have seen similar. In Nigeria.
Yep.
Yeah.
A little boy grabbing auntie's
forget
bum.
not the grabbing part.
And,
yeah, not the grabbing part.
Not
the grabbing part, but the dancing together.
Dancing together is not an issue.
And close dancing together, but it's a more
he
of a.
Grabbed the woman's bottom and was whining his hip into her. Serious, you know what?
I need to see the video.
I am not co-signing this dancing thing is not sexualized thing as well, by the way.
I
do not co-sign that.
I think there's some soca goers that go there for that.
I think it is sexualized. The dancing is sexualized. It's meant to look sensual. It's meant to look sexy. It's meant to arouse. Yeah?
Is it meant to arouse?
Yes. I think it is.
Is it?
I think it is.
Simple?
I don't.
That's up to you.
I don't know.
I don't care what you people think, by the way. I'm telling you what I think, yeah?
Well, that's your opinion.
I think it is. I think it is. You don't have to get so close up to somebody. You don't have to whine hip into somebody.
That's part of the culture.
Grinding the bottom into your kinny into somebody else's this thing. Yeah, you don't have to. The wood. You don't have to do that. Yeah. So I was like,
I think some men and some women do get aroused by it, but I don't know. Essentially,
for me, it is a sexualized dance. Whether or not people say it is or not,
through the lenses of the Western culture.
Them. Up to the African culture. I'm African. I'm telling you, I think it's sexual. Yeah,
well, you're also Western as well.
From the Christian culture, it's sexual. Okay. So then, as I say it like that, yeah, I saw that as a young boy trying to do something sexual, or they're trying to push the guy to do something sexual. That's what I thought it to be. It wasn't just a dance. It said man was saying rites of passage and all this palaver. So as far as I'm concerned, he's trying to do something sexual. That's me. I had a problem with it because, again, last week we were just talking about how boys get molested and we don't say nothing and they don't say nothing and blah, blah, blah. And then now we see a boy, they're forcing up a young boy and it looked like he was getting forced as far as I said, to wind up on someone's bum.
You love adding your own spice into stuff.
So I'm going to say...
I reckon no.
So let me counteract what you're saying there, yeah? So you're saying that it was sexualized and that whining is a sexual thing. Whining is an art and a technique, yeah? People are ridiculed for their inability to actually perform that art and that technique.
And what did they link it to? If you can't whine, what can't you do?
No, I'm talking about the actual whining itself.
Yeah. When they say you can't whine, what do they say you can't do?
They say you've got stiff back. They say
and you can't do what?
Can't do what?
You can't walk.
Run a marathon.
Yeah, but walk is the name of the whine.
whine.
Yeah, but wok is the name of the wine.
No, when I mean wok, I mean to have sex. Don't come with your Super Simon rubbish with me today, man.
I'm not coming.
I haven't got time with your rubbish today. I'll cut off a look.
This is what happens when you don't. This is what happens when you don't understand culture.
Listen, would it?
Can I? If people from outside our culture look at something that we do and say, let's make it so simple as food. And you're cooking something and people, that smells disgusting, or you put something in the microwave at work and and it's like, because you're not part of the culture.
How about when
it sticks
Wale,
to your sorry?
Remember Wale and his daughter and the spraying?
The spraying of the money. Yeah, they saw that as a stripping thing. So Wale the rapper, we spoke about a few months ago during his daughter's birthday. I think she was about 1 or 2, because she was on the floor. I don't think she could even dance. So the people were throwing money at her, dollar bills, and they saw that, or maybe $10 or whatever. But they were throwing money at her, paper money, and on social media it was, wow, look, they're treating their young, very very young daughter like a stripper because you throw money at strippers on the post. Yes. And then Wale
sexualized thing.
What? Yes.
But they weren't throwing the money the correct way. But
they weren't doing it the correct way. But no, because people I think things have graduated, because back in the day you'd stick it to the person's head. It was almost like an accomplishment for you dancing, you sweat, and because you're sweating, the money will stick to you, and that's kind of like how it worked. But nowadays it's progressed to the point where people do throw money at you now. So that does happen. So you can say blah, 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 they're not doing it the right way. Well, people do throw money. So the thing is that the Nigerian people said, well, this is a cultural thing. You don't understand it because you're looking at it from Western eyes. You're looking at it from in America, yes, when you throw money at a woman, it's demeaning. It's like you're a stripper. Okay. In Nigeria, when you throw money at a woman in a party setting, which this was, then it's a celebration, bitches.
Oh, okay, go on.
So that is a good example.
When you go back into history, when white people went into Africa and went and visited tribes where women were topless, they said that they were promiscuous and whatever. A woman being topless wasn't a sexualized thing in Africa. Yeah, titties were out. It's not a sexualized thing in Africa. But the white man saw that as, these people are sexualized. Look at them, they're out here.
Oh my god.
Yeah, oh my god.
Look at these animals. Look at these animals.
Yeah, they want to have sex all the time. So I'm saying to you, when you look at something,
which we did.
When you look at something through you fucking bastard. When you look at something through a different cultural lens, and you have no understanding of the culture that you're looking at, you're gonna put your views and ideas on that thing.
That was a very good example.
They wind up themselves,
Mr.
man.
Wolf. That spraying the money was because it's exactly the same.
They wind up themselves, and it is sexualized. I don't care.
All I can say is, as usual, as often, maybe sometimes it's not even satisfying, but I can see both sides of the story.
I ain't even I'm a big belly man. Big belly man. I got Vedetta get so crazy.
But initially when I saw the thing, it didn't really bother me. Once people said, "Oh, this is disgusting," I said, "Oh yeah," but that's not the first time I've seen that. I've been seeing that for a long time.
That's not a big thing at all.
That is nothing new to me.
I've seen people get upset when there's two children that are around about the same age dancing in the same fashion. They're like, "Oh, how can you sexualize the children and have them do that?" People don't understand. They don't understand. What can you do?
Question.
Go on, brother.
Tell me what you feel about this.
Right. When we started the podcasting many years ago, did it cause any rifts in the relationship between us?
The podcast?
Because of strains of maybe people not giving the correct amount of time, people not giving their monies when they should have paid up, or for this and that, people not stuff like that. Did it cause any strain on any of the relationships? Could you remember this? Because I think season 2 we've been cool. We've had a little disputes about
we had disputes in season 1.
We're like just getting together basically. Oh, you're long enough coming together, or you're long enough, you're late all the time. But season 1, I think maybe there was there any strain?
Beefs enough for people not to talk.
There wasn't.
No, not to talk, because obviously that's never happened. But just anything above like a minor little petty thing.
No,
anything above that.
There was a lot of annoyances.
There was a lot of annoyances.
Yeah. Okay.
So people not doing what they're supposed to do on time, and people not spending the money that they're supposed to spend and stuff like that. But I don't think.
Then there was the dissolving by the hiatus, where some people wanted to do stuff, and some people saying no, you can't do stuff. We had little tips.
Yeah, there was
times when people didn't believe that it was everyone's stuff. It was just yours. Stuff like that.
Yeah, I think after the
we had a thing about priority. People not taking it seriously. Some of us are taking it seriously.
Well, that's carried over to season 2. So.
Yeah,
I mean, after we kind of was starting to slow down the Facebook group, and then the whole website thing came about, I think that's where certain disputes came from. But during the recording of the podcast, the initial and the early stages, I don't think there was. When we had to sit down and do business, and that's why some people say, you know what, when it comes to business, not involving my friends, not involving my family, that's where a few little lovers' tiffs came into play. You get me? But I think men being men or us guys being us guys, there's nothing that we can do that's gonna force us not to want to speak to each other, that's gonna cause the beat
touch
to
my
be
woman
too...
and see what the fuck happened to you,
Yeah,
bruv.
but the thing is, none of us will.
The thing about, I think with us, and I'll say most of us, because sometimes I look at Stav in a way, we got a level of respect that we will try not to say something to somebody that's gonna really make them kick off. So even if we know that thing's gonna make you kick off, we just won't say it.
All right.
Or if you think that it's gonna make you go away, we just won't do it.
Okay.
And if you do say it, I think that it's not something that's intentional or spiteful, that if somebody points it out, then they'll say, you know what, my bad, I didn't mean it like that. But I think that, I don't know if you're referring to the whole Twitter beef thing.
No.
Okay, go ahead, bruv.
Let me follow through.
Flesh it out.
So as the guys of the self-proclaimed podfather that I'm calling myself now, I discuss and talk with
All
many
these
other
titles,
people from other podcasts. So I'm getting into this habit now of listening to other podcasts from the UK and involving myself in them, telling them maybe you should be a bit louder, maybe you should do this and that, or just discussing things with people, bigging them up as well. I do a lot of bigging up. There's a podcast I listened to today, 3 young guys, and one of them said, I read this thing from Minister Farrakhan, and the other 2 said, who's that? And I said, clearly this podcast is, I'm too old for this podcast because the guys were cool, man. It's just they were young. And that's just before their time. But anyways, I'm listening, I'm out there. But in my guys now of listening and talking to more podcasts, I'm finding out that some of these people have issues and have broken up. Podcasts have broken up friendships. I've had 2 discussions it was in 3 days. Like one on a Monday, one on a Wednesday, different podcasts, people told me and this person now no longer talk.
We've seen that.
From other
Shout
podcasts
Out
as well.
Network had a big beef as well.
We've seen that.
I'm not even. Well, also my point is,
how many podcasts you know that some of the lineups have changed over the time that they've been doing it?
Yeah. So the thing I was just putting out there is, do you think podcast does it reveal your friendship? Can it break up friendships? I don't know the question I want to use, but it's just because it's happened last week, and I was like, wow, this is really interesting.
Same issues,
because I've noticed it like a lot of times, and like you said, I was like, what's going on?
The same issues that I think I've seen or I've heard in the past of people breaking up, we've had. Yeah? And in certain aspects, it did break us up in certain aspects, the business side. But it's the way that some people see the podcast. So some people might see a podcast as something that's serious. It's a business. I want to do this going forward. I want to make money from this. I want to make it what I'm doing, and I'm taking all my time and effort to make this podcast the best one it can be. Yeah. And then you got some other people that just come on the podcast because they want a bus joke and have a laugh and then go home straight after. They don't want to do the editing. They don't want to stay behind to help pack up. They don't want to help promote it when it's time to promote. They just want to come in, have a chat, and leave.
Oh yeah, and based on that, shout out that actor. He's not here this week, so we'll shout him out. He'll be back next week. Hopefully.
So there's some people.
I'm only joking, you bitch. It's not crying.
He was well. There's some people that's like that in certain podcasts that they have that issue. Yeah, so that's already gonna cause a clash. If one person thinks like they're doing everything, and there was a time when you thought you was doing everything.
Not full. I was doing everything.
Okay, well, but that was again. But you couldn't really make much noise because you didn't want anybody else to do anything anyway.
You couldn't do everything anyways.
Yeah, but that's
let's not go around this circle again, please.
See what I'm saying?
No, it's a circle that is not worth going on.
That was the case.
You did say you were doing everything.
No, I said I was, but he's saying because I didn't want anyone. You couldn't do it. So whether I wanted you to do it or I didn't want you to do it, you couldn't do it.
Yeah, but you've taught us how to do it now, so we can still do it now.
We're doing something completely different now.
We could have done it then as well. You just didn't want to show, man.
You guys, but there's stuff that I have to fix up now. So back before when it was a lot harder.
You see, there's shade.
But the point is, this is what I said. I don't want to go down this road. So let's leave it.
But you could
shady motherfucker.
Again, this is where I said the respect level is. You could have just said, and left it, but no, you had to.
I could have said, let's not go down this road.
Yeah, well,
yeah, and we could have not gone down the road.
We got down the road, but this is the reasons why some people may break up. Like for me, if it was all of us now, and we was that type of person, you said that on the podcast, we could have taken that as an offense and said, you know what, you're coming to disrespect us on the podcast. You're making us look dumb. You're trying to make us look like we don't do what we're doing, and then I could start a beef. And podcasts reveal a lot about you that you might not have had. Like some people have discussions on podcasts that they probably would never have had if they were just talking with each other, and it reveals things that you like. Well, I didn't know that. Like that's now me and you had we all had a conversation. I said that I think that thing was a sexual assault, and you said no, I didn't even have a problem with it. For somebody else, that could be like, oh, I can't believe I'm sitting next to this guy that feels like that. How can you be somebody that feels like that? And then it causes a big argument, and it's a rift. I don't talk to you no more. You're that type of person I want to talk to.
I think it's the equivalent of moving into a house with your woman.
Yeah.
Blatantly.
So all your friends.
All your friends, yeah. So you could be with your brethren, and then you could choose to rent together or buy together or whatever, and then they reveal themselves whilst living with them, and the same thing for a partner. They
leave all the hair in the shower.
That's what I'm
don't
saying. Look
clean
at this
up after
person
themselves.
who fucking shits in
Stuff
there.
like that,
he doesn't clean up his shit after he does a shit. The fucking shit.
Yeah, but it's true. There's a lot of people who say like, I didn't know that you were so disgustingly dirty. You know, I didn't know that you was a messy person and all that type of stuff.
Man showered twice in the week. Just twice. Is that it, bro?
Wow, it's only twice.
Yeah, so it is literally podcast is exactly what Mr. Wolf says. It's like you're opening your home to each other and living with each other for a while.
There's one white person in the world that heard that and they were like, "What's wrong with bathroom twice?"
So yeah,
shots fired.
I can believe that there's a lot of podcasts that break up all the time. A lot of the time, I'm surprised that there's not more that break up.
It was just interesting to me. And
you got to be proper homies, man. You can't just be people thrown together doing podcasts.
So okay then. As veterans in this game, because we were first. Yes,
with the homies.
Hashtag,
We were first, though.
Yes.
We've been doing this since the 80s.
What would be your advice to anyone that's looking to start up a podcast with their friends in respect to how they can keep the boundaries, in a good place so that there's no wahala down the line?
I think personally our crew is different than most people's crew.
So,
but that's not
I can't give you any advice because you're not as good as us, mate.
Basically, because we kind of don't use the word friendship. We kind of say that, well, he's not my friend, he's family. You know what I mean? So if you're gonna
families break up all the time, big.
They do, but at the same time,
you're gonna be all right.
At the same time, most families, they may hate each other, get on each other's nerves, but they will still have each other's back in it. And I think that most of us here, none of us are the same, but the same are kind of equally yoked. If that makes any sense.
I think this,
and I think if you are going to do a podcast with someone, Mr. Wolf is saying make sure that this person and you sync well enough together, and that you understand each other's in and outs. You know what your buttons are that you shouldn't press when recording.
Okay.
Pun intended.
Simple.
Boom boom.
I would say one of the biggest things that you should consider is that there is an optimum number of hosts or participants in a podcast. Do not exceed that optimum number, or you find that optimum number and don't exceed it. When you are doing a podcast, you should try and at least have the important elements divided among the members of the podcast. And when I say important elements, I mean like crucial things. One person shouldn't be the one person who's in charge of or responsible for all of the crucial elements of your podcast. You want the greatest level of redundancy possible. So
spread load,
yes, indeed. With spreading load, it means that you also spread commitment. If a show coming together requires 2 or 3 people to do quite major things, those 2 or 3 people have a naturally imposed deadline, and they have a naturally imposed means of motivation. Nobody wants to be the weak hand.
You know what? You saying that though, that could easily be the thing that leads to problems.
It could be,
because you have 2 people that's stepping up doing their thing, and the third person is not, and that's where the problem starts.
The problem starts there, and then what happens after that is that podcast now becomes 2 people instead of 3.
Well, that's not avoiding what we're trying to do.
Yeah, but you can't avoid it. That's the point. People are people, innit? And people can only be people. They can only be themselves.
Well, you can tell the 2 people that were going to step up just to do all the work anyways.
This is what I was going to say. So I was going to say,
and
for
just
me,
leave the third person out.
Let them record it. If that's a strong point,
yeah, fair enough.
Then leave them.
My advice is this. Yeah,
go on, big wilder.
My advice is this: be honest with each other. Yeah, if you know full well all you really want to do is come in and do the podcast, you do not care. about any of these other bits. You're there to just come in, have some fun, go home, and if it gets big, you want to get your cut. Be honest about saying that. Be honest about what you're prepared to do. Be honest about how much time you've got, and be honest with each other. Because once you're honest with each other, when people can't get angry, or they can still get angry, but at least you can say, "Well, I did tell you that you're not the priority. I did tell you that I'd rather go watch football or play football than do the podcast today. So if football's on, I'm not coming," which I've said in the past. So you know what I mean?
Which I find disgraceful.
But I'll do it. But you have to be honest about how your feelings are. And if people are not prepared to accept that, then you say, you know what, then I'm not doing it with you then. I'll do it with somebody else. And I'm just be like, fine. Another thing you need to do is you need to have a friendship that is stronger than the podcast. If your friendship is not as strong as the podcast, then boy, your friendship wasn't as strong as the podcast. It's as simple as that. This thing can potentially break you up because whatever this thing is that you're doing is more important than your friends. And you got to think of it like that. There's sometimes you can say to yourself, you know what? Because you could easily split a podcast and still be friends. That could be easily happen. Now, I'm not going to be in the pod in the car. Okay, that's cool. We don't have to be in the podcast with each other. We'll just be friends and leave it as it is and go about your separate ways. And you don't have to, because you're coming off the podcast now, be enemies. That's just long. But
in the cases that I was discussing, because I was actually like appealing to them. Come on, man, they don't have to be. And they're like, nah.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Nah. But now they've showed themselves to be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people are like that. So you just need to make sure that you all know where you are, where you stand. And again, kind of like what Simple Simon was saying, there may be people that's going to be having it as a bigger priority as their life. And you need to, respect that. So you respect people's time. You respect them. You respect each other. Like if you know that somebody's, like that's what sometimes where we get into not arguments, I'll say, if anything. Like sometimes we can feel like each other's not respecting each other's time. Like we can say, I'm doing something today. What are you doing? Why are you coming 3 hours late? Like you just like those are the type of things that can get you annoyed because you're like you haven't respected my time. You are happy to come 3 hours late, knowing that I'm gonna be sitting here waiting for 3 hours, stuff like that. So
RESPECT.
But you have to then accept if the person is generally sad about that or upset about that, then you got to accept it.
Okay.
Large up, Aretha.
Yeah.
Did we large her up?
Large up, Mr. Wolf.
One time.
3 hours late.
Quick question.
I wasn't 3 hours late.
I was joking.
quick. I'm gonna try and make this quick.
You didn't answer your own question.
Because I don't want to.
This fucking guy.
Do I have to? We're running out of time.
Damn, how to see.
Tim Cook is the CEO of Apple. He's recently celebrated his 7-year anniversary as being the CEO of Apple. Right. So he took over before Steve Jobs died. But when Steve Jobs got sick and he felt he couldn't control Apple anymore, he passed it on to Tim Cook. Yep. Now, for those of you that don't know much about it, Steve Jobs was very flamboyant. He was very out there, very artistic. And Tim Cook is a bit more of a even keel. He's a business. He's about his business as opposed to being, quite.
They care about the money.
Quite an artist, right? So both of them did charity though, and under the guise of Apple. So they do their things where they recycle these parts. They use recycled parts. They give to this charity and blah 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 blah. But when Steve Jobs did it, he didn't really put it out there. Yeah, it was a quiet thing. Apple was doing this and that, and you wouldn't know about it. When Tim Cook took over, he would let you know. Like the keynote is going to be coming up in a couple of weeks for Apple, and I'm going to more or less guarantee that during that keynote, at some point, he's going to say, at Apple, we are committed to doing this and that for the environment. We're going to recycle this. We're going to do this. He will keep pushing out all the good things they're doing. He's not humble about it. Yes. Maybe humble is not the right word, but you say he is.
No, I'm saying he's going to do that because they don't pay tax. But anyway, keep going.
But my question is, what do you feel? Because they say that to be modest is the why Steve Jobs did it. He didn't want to put his business out there and he's like, I'm doing my stuff, or we are as a company doing our charity, and we're not exposing ourselves. We're being humble. And people would say Tim Cook, the reason he's doing it this way is he's being a spearhead for companies in general. He's saying, look at what we're doing. You should follow us, and basically being a beacon of hope. Because we can do this,
he's
so
doing
can
it
you.
For business, man.
But my question was because once I kind of figured that out, I was like, which avenue would you go down?
Out of the two.
Yeah.
If it's a company, I'll do it as a company. I'll say my company's done this, the company's done that. I don't see anything. I don't see it as being modest or humble if you're saying that a company. It's not just you one, is it? The whole company has done this.
Yeah, what if you was a rich man then and you was a millionaire or billionaire or whatever?
And I was doing charity, I'd tell people I was doing charity. If I thought it was going to encourage others to do it, I'll do it. I'll say I gave 2 billion pounds this month to I don't know, save the Ghanaians.
Oh
what's wrong with this guy?
my
I
God!
thought we weren't gonna do this.
No, it's because of the Kofi Annan episode. We weren't gonna do it. That's all.
Okay.
Something stupid like that. But you know what I
We
mean.
love you, Ghanaians, man.
I'm not even cussing them. I'm just saying. I just
Save
picked
the Ghanaians.
anything. Yeah. So save them and their food. So
Jollof.
I would tell people that I was doing it, and I'd encourage other people to do the same thing as well.
All right. Okay. Simple. It's just a quick thing before we wrap up.
Would I encourage people to do charity?
No. Which avenue would you go down? Would you go down the I'm doing a charity and I'm quiet about it, or I'm doing a charity I'm telling everyone?
I would be quiet about it.
I would have guessed that. What about if it was a company?
If it was a company, if it was a company, I wouldn't do any charity work. I would just pay tax. There you go.
Mr. Wolf.
I don't see you paying tax, by the way.
I think
if you could get out of paying tax, Simple Simon ain't paying no damn tax.
For myself personally, if I could get out of paying tax, yeah. But corporation, I'd pay the tax. No, I don't give a shit about that money. It's not mine.
It is your money. That's the point.
Nah.
It goes back to the shareholders. I'm assuming if you was your company, you would be a major shareholder. Going back into your pocket.
Yeah, I'll pay the tax.
Wolf?
if I was, I think
he would take pictures with them.
no. I think that
These are the
some
children
people
that
are.
are donated
Look at my
football votes
African.
too.
Look at my special African.
Yeah. No.
I saved him.
I think some people are naturally followers, innit? Some people need somebody to follow. So if I could encourage people, just like what Wahala said, if my charity work is going to encourage other people to do likewise and to give to good causes, real charity causes, not those corporate bastards that are out there taking money off the regular folks, then yes, I would make it public, and I would also make it public as a limited company or some kind of a corporate company.
Mr. Wolf would be like, you know those Oxfam adverts where they say they did the water well appeal? This is a real water well.
That is exactly what I
This
would
is
do.
how it's really done.
Hold on.
I would expose them.
Let me taste the water from the well. It's not the best water, but I've had it.
Yeah. Listen, I would expose those people out there that are taking liberties.
Expose ya.
And it'd be like, yes, and Umar Johnson, this is a school.
Yes. Listen, I think Umar Johnson done some good things, but this school that he's talking about is some myth, bruv. It's not coming, mate.
This is a school, and this is a teachers in the school.
The funny thing is
She's a good looking one.
One of my friends that I know, I'm sure that she won't mind me saying, she and her mum built a school in Nigeria about 2 years ago. So if they can do it off the back of their own wages and off the back of raising funds and what have you, then I think Dr. Umar Johnson can also do the same thing. So yeah, man. Ola, well done.
Go on, Stavrik.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we gonna wrap up? Anybody want
What
to
would you do?
toss anything? What would I do if it was
What would
the
you do?
business? I would do it like Apple's doing it now, where I would promote that thing.
Promoting.
And if it was personal,
Percy Ingle.
I'd probably. It did kill me though, anyways. But I'd probably put it out there still.
Can we establish that Percy Ingles is the black,
Greg's
is the black bakery?
Why?
Greg's is the everyone bakery. Percy Ingles is specifically for blacks
Why?
and ghetto blacks like that, because it's only in the ghetto. Where do you see Percy Ingles that's not ghetto?
No, because it's in
Is that Morley's?
It's in East London, isn't it?
No, Percy Ingles was all everywhere before.
Where else outside of East London? Where did you see
Percy Ingles was out. It's not Morley's, bruv. Percy Ingles was outside of.
Okay,
East
I'm
London.
asking you where. Which
Does
part?
they not have them anymore?
There's one in Tottenham.
East stroke north.
Anywhere ghetto.
No,
Percy
because you have Percy Ingle, which is mainly east,
and the aunties work in Percy Ingle
you
as
have
well.
you have Greg's, which is spread out, and then you have Wenzel's, which is mainly
Who?
Exactly, it's northwest.
Wenzel's.
Wenzel's, and that's the one with the patties.
I don't know what that is.
They have Wenzel's is the same as Percy Ingles.
No.
It's the same as Greg's.
It's the official ghetto bakery, yeah.
Why did that come into your
Because I
head?
said Percy
Yes,
Ingle.
Percy Ingles. And I'm just saying it's the most ghetto bakery. The aunties work there. I think if you can wait long enough and ask them on the slide, they'll bring you some street.
Oh no, Mr. Wolf. Is there one in South? Is there one? Because I know Northwest is Wenzel's. I know East is
They have Morley's.
Percy Ingles, and Greg's is kind of like all over the gaff.
Oh, what, a regular type bakery?
Yeah, is there one that's kind of like located
Morley's.
in and around South London?
Morley's.
What type of bakery are you talking about?
Morley's.
Like a Caribbean
Greg's,
one?
man.
No, just like
Oh,
like
Greg's.
Morley's.
No, I don't
Okay.
think there is one in
Alright,
South.
sorry, you're deprived. No bakery for you.
No, we have everything else though.
Okay.
In fact, there must be one in South. Listeners, let me know.
I drove down here. When I was driving down here, there was a church or something going on. And I had to go both ways because, I was dropping my daughter and then I came back. And the bottom outside that place, I need to know what country they're from so I can visit. I just need to put money into the African country's pocket. That's all. That's all. I'm just trying to help the country. I'm just trying to help the country.
Is there anything wrong
Probably
with
him. Probably
Is there
him.
anything wrong with chirping in church?
No.
That's what it's for, innit? Fellowship.
There you go.
I think people like to go on like there's something wrong with it. I don't think there's.
Which people said that?
In general, like
some-
I mean, in the
some-
church. I'm not talking about outside activities. I'm talking in the church.
Yeah, no.
When they're passing the thing with it, when they're in church where they say you should shake each other's hand to give the thanks.
So what you're saying that they tickle the
A
they
quick
tickle
stroke,
their palm.
a quick stroke in that.
Yeah. No. I think that.
Sister.
I think, did we ask a similar type of question some months ago?
Say what?
Regarding chirping and meeting someone at a funeral. I think we
Yeah, that's
did.
different.
We kind of touched on it. I
Ain't
think
nothing wrong
that,
with
I think
either.
that there is no place that you shouldn't be able to approach somebody. I
No.
just think that there's an appropriate time. So if there's a sermon going on or something, and you're in spirit or something like
They
that,
encourage
I'm
you
not
to
sure.
talk to meet up
Yeah.
in church. That's all.
Hollywood has shown you that there is no place where it's off limits. Yeah? Because
Just like jokes ain't off limits.
Hollywood has shown you that, because it doesn't matter what's going on. You might be in the middle of a gunfight and then all of a sudden it's time to have sex. Have you noticed that?
Flex.
Time to have sex. Jeez.
I don't know the rest of the lyrics.
No, do I, man.
Quick thing.
Simple.
Go on.
Kofi Annan.
What about him?
He's passed on.
Yeah, resting.
Now, the patriarchs of both my family and my wife's family are diplomats or ex-diplomats. Both of them are ex-diplomats.
Yeah.
It's quite strange actually how it mirrors each other. The patriarch of my family now, because recently the matriarch passed on, so he then became basically the next one in charge, and so he's a ex-diplomat. So on my wife's side, the patriarch, the ex-diplomat, doesn't live in Ghana. He lives in Canada, but he's having to go over to Ghana now to assist with or to take part of the funeral.
Mm-hmm.
So because we're going over there, it's like, oh yeah, make sure you. So yeah, we're gonna link up with him or whatever. And I was making jokes, so what, we're going. And she's like, listen, you're joking, yeah. But she just come from her aunt, and one of the aunts called where my missus had been to her aunt to say, oh, is uncle going back home for the funeral? It's like, yeah. Can you hook me up some tickets?
Yeah, but apparently
They wanted the hookup to come to the funeral.
No, apparently
Ticket.
this is again. I don't want this to actually be a slate of you people, because before you're gonna take it because I'm saying it is a slate.
Go on.
But I heard that funerals are meant to be really big in Ghana. Like that's meant to be like a proper big thing. Like they funerals are as big as the weddings there.
Is that not African things in general?
Nah, like Ghana, like they proper funerals are big thing for them.
I've been to a funeral in Ghana. It was big, but again, the person was a very important and influential person in the country. So, but it was massive. It was bigger than my wedding.
So yeah, it's like
my
a rave,
wedding had 400 people in it, so it's bigger than that.
like a rave thing.
But the person was old, and so how many people are you gonna know once you get to them certain ages? When you're 80s, 90s, you're gonna know the whole world, innit?
Well, the person that you just was talking about that passed, they was talking about the fact there was 2,000 people at the funeral. What kind of gospel is this? It's like a mega church.
What, 2,000 people at a funeral? Yes. But if you think about it, depending on your position, like you said, over a 80, 90 year period, you know, like my grandma is 90 now. And I was thinking, like, if we had a funeral for her, it would be ram, because she knows so many people. She used to live in Scotland at one point. Like, she just knows so many people.
Well, I want to hear about that story.
If everyone gives tenner, that's a good.
It's a good money, trust me.
You should do entrance free for real though.
You know, like that.
Have somebody at the door.
You want your love?
Yeah.
All right.
If you wear black, you get £2 off or something.
Have you seen this meme that's been going around? Sorry, I have to drop this. Have you seen this meme that's been going around, right? They'll have a picture of, like, what, you know, the Nigerian actor, the short one, that's puts his hands on his head and he looks like he's in distress, yeah?
Mm.
and they will have the other one next to him, and the meme will say something along the lines of, "Do you pray before you eat?" It says, "No, I'm Ghanaian." I know I'm Ghanaian. It's only you Nigerians that have to pray before you eat your jollof or something.
Somebody sent that to me. Shout out to Wendy, another listener. Well, the one that was sent to me, it's a similar pretense, but the question was, do you pray before you eat? No, I'm Ghanaian. We know how to cook jollof.
Oh, the people is rubbish.
I said such a dry. That is exactly the words I used. I said such a dry joke. The person that did that has ashy hands that wrote that.
Oh my
ashy
God.
hands.
This is dry ashy.
Do you know? There's one thing that I said that I actually felt hurt this week. So no, we're getting on. We got a bit of time anyways.
Not really. No.
Coming up to 2 hours, but
yeah. When you lot say your goodbyes for 10 minutes each.
We spoke about carnival, but do you know what finished me off?
Go on.
I was in the group chat, the family group chat, and I was like, I might want to go carnival, blah blah blah. And then my sister said, "Yeah, your niece has gone carnival." And you might as well have played Yom's TV music in the background, because you might as well just gone bang. I did not. It hurt me, you know. It hurt me on so many levels that my niece had gone to carnival on her own with her friends. It hurt me. I don't know,
Getting
man.
older, mate.
Yeah, I know.
No baby
it
no
upset
more.
me, man.
Your dad was worried about you, though.
Huh? He was very.
Yeah, I was there when he was discussing it, and he was like, I was like, you of all people, because he's such a like a free spirit dad.
Yeah, but he comes from the ends as well. He's seen carnival.
That's exactly what he said.
Oh,
he's like, I know.
I've got a daughter.
I know what happens at carnival.
I've got a daughter.
And what happens?
Stuff
I don't know. I don't know.
You know what happens? The videos happen.
Sexualized dance?
I don't think. No, he's not worried about that. I don't think he's worried about that because
we've got daughters.
Yeah, but they get touched. Women get touched without people asking.
Mm-hmm.
Women get sexually assaulted in carnival all day long.
I'm not worried about my daughter. You know, I'm not worried.
You're not worried about somebody sexually assaulting your daughter at carnival?
No, because then I don't push them things out into the air. I take into account anything can happen, or things can happen in certain situations. I'm not naive to anything, but I don't worry about it, because what's the point in sitting there worrying about it?
Yeah, that mean, man.
Something that's gonna happen 15 years down the line.
And can I big up Mo from Colour at the Box, because she said she was ready to ride for me if I wanted any beef to go down. You know, she had my back, so I'm saluting her on that one.
In what sense was
on
that?
Twitter, because I was crying, and I think somebody must have said, "Oh,
you're crying about the knees."
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they were like, I got your back. You know, I don't think she should be going either. I don't think any age should go to this place because it's wicked. And I was thinking, yes, she had my back, because I do not. It upset. I was properly worried, even to the point where my sister. I had to message my sister and say, she got home yet? She's like, not yet. She's gone to Nando's or something.
She's old enough,
and
man.
Then she messaged me later to say that she was home. And when she said she was home, I was like, I didn't even find out if my own wife was at home yet. This one, I found out about my.
You know what I feel? Because at some point in life I changed my outlook and I was more positive. And when I was negative things happen. And when I was positive things happen. I stick to the positive. So I actually just assume things will go well. I don't push negativity out there. Yeah. I just assume things will go well.
I agree.
And yeah, that's my thing. So sometimes my wife is like, "Why is it?" And it's like, because worrying I believe it just puts it in the air, and I don't like putting it. So when you said, "Are you worried about stuff like that?" And when someone's like, "We got children," I'm like, I'm positive, man. Things will be blessed. I'd rather be wrong than be right.
That's good.
I feel it.
Okay, you're trying to cut me off.
Who?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to cut you off.
All right, then let's end.
All right, so are you finished your singing? I believe he has. At Big Wahala on Insta. At Big Wahala on Twitter. Wahala's gone.
A Simple Simon FB on Twitter. I'm out.
Wow.
Mr. Wolf, aka Mr. Wolf on Insta, aka _ Mr. Wolf on Twitter.
Now he's gonna take 10 minutes. Go on.
Okay, Stavros says this week is a film. It's directed by Idris and it's called Yardie, and it would have come out by the time you it come out today, innit?
Yeah,
it came out today. So go out there and support the film by Idris, Big Driss.
You know what? We should have spoke about this, because the way that Black Panther had such a backing and everybody was gonna wear their African clothes and blah blah blah. I wanted to see people in a desert boot and string vest to go watch Yardie.
Oh, it's based on the book, but because I read this book many years ago. This one and Yush. From what was the publishers again?
I forgot.
Oh man,
Dotun Adebayo, I think, was part of the publishing team.
But it was big back in the day, man. They had a big series of books that I think Baby Father was one of them as well, isn't it?
Baby Father.
So yeah, but anyway, so I read all them books back in the day, and
Victor Headley's the novel.
Yeah, but what's the publishers? Because they were big. Well, it's like everybody had their books back in the day. Everybody. See, we used to read back in the day.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, we used to pass books around in school, you know.
There's a study that says that the reading in America has gone down to like 16%.
Everywhere, man.
Express, I think it was.
Yeah. Anyways, go support the film. Support black films. There you go. I am at Stavros Bus everywhere. You can catch us collectively at ESN Podcast. Use the hashtag ESN Pod when you're discussing things. If you think Simple Simon, Stavros, and Mr. Wolf are disgusting because we don't see the issues with a grown woman whining with a young child. I don't know because Mr. Wahala kept correcting me every time I use. So holler at us, hashtag ESN Pod. If you feel that you are part of a podcast and you're having dire straits, you can inbox any one of us, and if you thought something that they said resonated with you, send them a little inbox and say, listen, there's a bit of problem in my podcast, because we are the podcasters podcast, and I'd like some advice. By all means, holler at Simple, holler at Big Wahala, holler at Mr. Wolf. Leave me out of it. So thank you for listening to episode 88. We're gonna be doing some satellite kind of recording next week. We'll see how it goes. But maybe you might have a skeleton crew. We'll see. But anyways, thank you for listening. We are out.
And remember, if you ain't saying nothing, say it well.
Slag for life. Big up. That. Wherever you are.
Probably working Yardie.
Probably watching Yardie. Black people nowhere. Doesn't know what we're doing. This is why we're gonna break up because of this. We're gonna break up because of that hashtag. Putting them to their story. Watching the good.
I'll finish it.
You know what? Because with how unfiltered he wants to be, of all the people,
they will affect the most.
Yeah.
One time,
he gets successful.
Big up man like he must have. I was super tweeting up there. I was still laughing. There was one episode that.
That's who that is.
There was one episode that we did. When you back get famous, he goes, "This episode's so funny." But when you back get famous, delete this one. And I was like,
it wasn't even that bad.
Which one was it?
That was the one where somebody could fight.
Oh yeah.
Somebody, you know.
That was that actor.
Why are you sneaking? I look at him. I promise he didn't say who it was.
People that know the voices.
Yeah, but they don't know the episode. They don't know. All they know is